What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another Forward Progress live watch along right here on Forward Progress, part of the Hammer Betting Network, presented by FanDuel. I'm Rob Pizzola. I'm here with you for the duration of the night. Apologies for the late start. Let the dog out before the show. He saw a rabbit in the backyard. Shit went wild, but we're here now. I'll get into it. I'll get as many plays as I can before the start here, although we should have a little bit of time. I know it's not going to kick off right at the scheduled time of 6:30 for this particular game. Just of note, in the last, I want to say 15 minutes, Baltimore has been steamed at some of the market-making sports books. So money coming in last minute on Baltimore. If you want to know why, I don't think anything's fundamentally changed in the game. There's nothing different on the inactives list. Weather still expected to be bad. That was known, unless maybe someone is taking a position on something related to that. It's most likely just someone who's betting big limits at this point, waiting until the last second to get in. I don't have a strong opinion on the game, but just so you know, that's where we're at for that particular game right now. Props-wise, I always like to be honest with the audience. This should be a great game. I don't have very strong opinions on this game, whether it's the side, the total, specific props, even the SGP angle I'm going to build tonight. It's a little bit looser than normal in terms of what I would define a quote-unquote strong angle. So let's just get that out there. But I'm going to put these out there anyways. I did bet everything. I always bet the stuff that I bet on the show. And let's start there. Let's go to rushing yards market. I am going to go back to the well on someone who has been good to me in the rushing yards market, and that's going to be Justice Hill. I'm going to bet him over 9.5 rush yards. Just looking across the market, looks like FanDuel has one of the best prices, if not the best price right now, at 9.5 minus 110. There's a very stale 7.5 out there as well, but I like Justice Hill over. I really think Baltimore is going to attack on the ground in this game, plain and simple. They got eliminated in the playoffs last year against the Chiefs. Everyone ragged on them for that game plan where they passed the ball a lot. I think they're riding with the running game, ride or die type of thing. Justice Hill over 9.5, got 6 carries last week. I talked about this a lot, but he's a good change of pace guy, especially with Henry working down that defense over the course of the game. I'm not going to bet it. Was really close to, but just because I don't want to have to cheer opposite of Justice Hill when he's on the field, I actually think his receiving numbers are a little bit too high, honestly. Across the market, 22.5. FanDuel's got a pretty good price there as well on the under. That one is tempting. Might come back to it, and maybe we'll bet it right before we go live. Also on the Ravens side, by the way, half unit on that one for anyone wondering. Also on the Ravens side, I'm going to go with Tylan Wallace under in both the receptions and the receiving yards market. I'm going to play a half unit on each. He did get the most snaps last week at receiver for the Ravens. I'm not convinced that's going to continue moving forwards. Again, just trying to read coach speak and things of that nature. I think Aguilar is probably a little bit more involved this week than he was in a previous week. So I'm going here to the under. I also think what helps this play is the amount of 2 tight end sets we will see for Baltimore. Heavy personnel. Wallace not really conducive to that. So half unit each, Tylan Wallace unders. Again, these are paper-thin margins. Get the best prices. Definitely FanDuel has the best price on the receiving yards. If you're looking for receptions market, you always want to check what the lowest vig is. I think there's some 130 out there. That's what I'm going with on the Ravens side. GoPoke says, I'm going to sit out your unders. It's bad news. I'm not betting an over for tonight's game. That's not to say that nobody can go over. Is just that I think that some of the value lies in unders. Let's go to the Buffalo side. Ray Davis is active off of his concussion. Got in 3 practices this week. Going to be fine. Last week, oh, sorry, my bad. I gave out Justice Hill over. Apologies. The dog rabbit thing really had me going. Already gave out a Justice Hill over. I swear I didn't drink anything today. Ray Davis is active. When he went out last week, Ty Johnson became a much bigger part of the game plan. He actually had the same amount of snaps as James Cook. Since the announcement of Ray Davis coming back in, haven't seen much movement on Ty Johnson. I'm going to play Ty Johnson under 12.5 receiving yards in this game. I think that's the look to capitalize on Davis getting some snaps. Johnson down to 10.5 FanDuel. Let me just double check that this is still available. I spend literally 5 minutes going to air every single night, making sure that we still have numbers available in market. Looks like it got steamed a bit. Okay, you can have 11.5 minus 110 out there right now. 10.5, fine as well. Look up Ty Johnson's game logs. I don't want to spend time going through game by game, but that's where we're at right now. Okay. Other things I considered but didn't play. I thought Lamar Jackson pass yards was in the 212s, pretty low, but I'm not going there. I'm going to stick with the gut inclination. No. Okay. Let me clarify. This is very clear. Justice Hill was over. Justice Hill was an overbet. It was up on screen as an overbet. I said it was an overbet. I incorrectly then said I'm not betting any overs. I meant to say no additional overs for the game. Period. Okay? Nothing's changed. Think it was pretty clear. Will maybe step outside, take a breath, do something. It's going to be okay. Life's going to go on, my man. Even if you bet it now, you can click the cash out button and get your exact bet back. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Okay. On the SGP side of things, told you it was going to be a little bit of a reach today. I think it's a very good line for the game. But now with Baltimore being pushed out across the screen right now, I'd say the side that I'd be most likely to bet at this point would be Buffalo. I'm going to create the SGP around a Buffalo alternate spread. So I'm going to sell points similar to what we did last night where we just took Washington minus 2.5. I'm going to go to Buffalo minus 5.5 alternate spread. Someone says to me, it's impossible for Buffalo to win this game by 6. I'd say you never watched football before because crazy shit happens every single day of the week. Buffalo minus 5.5. It's going to be the start of this parlay. Now, you might think, well, if Buffalo's going to win this game by margin, it's got to mean Josh Allen is having a big game, huge game. I'm actually going to go the opposite, and especially with his rushing yards. I'm going to play his under rushing yards at 47.5. I think if Buffalo really works the short and intermediate passing game today, they can be really successful. I think if there's one spot where the Ravens defense can be had, it can be underneath in the passing game. I'm not convinced that the secondary is as strong as people believe they are. What I do think the Ravens are going to try to attempt at all costs is to shut down Josh Allen in the running game. It's a very smartly coached franchise. They tend to take away, not quite to the extent of Belichick, where you take away the top weapon on the other team, but they watch tape, they study. This is my educated guess on how the Ravens try to stop Buffalo, and my educated guess on how Buffalo tries to beat the Ravens D. Then finally, I'm going to throw in a Lamar Jackson 80+ alternate rushing yards into here. You can ladder this up. You can go 80+ to a 31-1 payout. If you want to go 100+, that's going to drastically increase the payout. Obviously, it's going to be less likely. However, I believe, again, making lots of educated guesses here because we don't know, that Buffalo will do everything in their power to shut down Derrick Henry in this game. Not let Derrick Henry go wild and beat them. That might lead to Lamar playing a little bit more keeper as the game goes on, but I think the emphasis is on shutting down Derrick Henry. So that's what we're doing. You can use a profit boost token if you want. There's still one available. I think it's a no sweat SGP, actually. Either way, it's out there. Use those as best as you can. at FanDuel. As an aside, we're going to go to touchdown scoring market really quickly here. There's one player we're definitely going to take tonight. This was inspiration from Hitman last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. We got cucked on a carry down to the 1 yard line, but Patrick Ricard is 22-1 at FanDuel right now. Anytime touchdown, I'm going to play that for $10, 10th of a unit. When the Ravens play heavy, Ricard will be on the field. He will be viable in the passing game. He will be viable in the running game. This is a long shot. It's probably going to lose. But we're going Patrick Ricard, 22-1. Make sure you play it at FanDuel. Don't be that guy that, look at the prices elsewhere are absurd in some spots. Plus 975. Like, you can't do that. Can't take stuff like that. Just generally, you're going to want to play touchdown scores at FanDuel. James Cook, best price in market is FanDuel. Lamar Jackson's best price in market is FanDuel. Josh Allen's best price in market is in FanDuel. Dalton Kincaid as well. A little bit concerned about Dalton Kincaid's overall snaps, to be completely honest. Dawson Knox has really been outsnapping him by way more than I've seen. I just don't like the price on Knox relative to where it was previous weeks. Not going to go near that, although $650, again, would be the best price that you can find there. Just going to stick with Ricard as a long shot touchdown guy. The rest I'm not so sure about. Brandon asked Tylan Wallace. I'm playing him under on both receptions and receiving yards. We pay the price, Joseph. We pay the price on waiting. I do have a fair on Patrick Ricard being somewhere in the 17-1 range. Take that for what it's worth. And again, I'm only giving out plays right now that are plays that I would consider betting at this moment in time. So that's going to do it for going into the show. There's going to be hopefully stuff we can find live. Rams, Eagles. I made a lot of live bets. Some worked out really well. Some didn't work out so well. But there's opportunities in these weather games. Of note, by the way, notice at the end of that Rams-Eagles game how passing became a lot easier. I think some of that was obviously the state of the game where the Eagles were up 2 touchdowns late, playing a little bit softer, but also really tough for these DBs to make those cuts when they don't know what's coming. The Snovers potentially in effect. Really depends. We got to see how the precipitation's working, things of that nature. But once you start to know, and also it opens up like these explosive runs. Guys get to the second level, they are gone. Absolutely gone. All right. A reminder, this is the last game of the divisional round of the playoffs. There is no better place to bet on these games than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I'm a big fan of FanDuel as a product. I started in the product space. I believe in good products, and I like to promote good products. I don't think there's an experience better in market right now than FanDuel. Great product pregame, tons of betting options. Great product in-game, tons of betting options. Really easy to navigate. And right now, all customers can pump up their gridiron winnings with a no-sweat SGP and a live profit boost token for tonight's Bills-Ravens game. FanDuel has tons of ways you can get in on the action. You can bet money line spreads, player props, and more. Plus, with super simple live betting, lightning fast bet settlement, and instant withdrawals, FanDuel makes betting on the NFL easier than ever before. Just visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to download FanDuel today. You must be 21 plus and present in select states or 18 plus and present in DC. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms for offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right. Game will be starting here in 1 second. And I'm really looking forward to this one tonight. I've been amped for the majority of the week. Been trying to find some bets to make here. Not a ton that I've loved over the course of the week. So hopefully we can find some in-game action to make it a little bit more exciting. Again, whenever there's these weather type of games, you tend to find some decent opportunities in the live markets for sure. But let's get into it. Our guest to start us off today, I don't think he's been on here on Forward Progress, maybe Super Bowl edition before. So maybe making his debut, onlyplayers.com, formerly ESPN, Doug Kazarian. Doug, good to see you.
Good to be with you, man. I've enjoyed how rattled you were with the dog and the rabbit.
Like it's like 2 minutes before the show. My wife's not around tonight. She's with her friends. I'm like, I got to let the dog out before we start. I tell my producer, I'm like, I'll be back in like a minute. And I don't know what's gone through his head because I was gone for like 7 or 8 minutes. I'm trying to call. It's freezing here today. It's the same temperatures we got basically in Buffalo tonight. So I'm trying not to go out in bare feet to grab. Anyways, it's done. A little stressful leading into the show.
We've all been there in terms of having stuff crazy behind the scenes or whatever and having to do some live content. So I particularly enjoyed it.
Good. Game tonight, Bills Ravens. You got a position?
Yeah, no, not on the side or total. I echo a lot of your thoughts. I mean, look, we all like betting big games, but I can't imagine there's an edge in this. It's really two teams capable of winning. With the teams that are left, probably, I think Baltimore might be favored in Kansas City. Did I see that right? If Baltimore won?
That the early look aheads were that way, yes.
Yeah.
I could tell you what I would do in that situation, Doug. And it's probably going to be click Kansas City pretty fast. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I was surprised when I was hearing people because I had said that at the beginning of the playoffs, just talking with a buddy. I'm like, it might be. He's like, no chance. No chance. A pro bettor was like, no chance. Kansas City's a dog, but maybe. But the one play I did have, it's my favorite play of the weekend, though. I should get into it because it was kind of piggyback when you were talking about the offensive game plan for Baltimore. I think they're going to run and run and run. And so it's under for Lamar Jackson's completions. And I wrote about it in the New York Post, 28 and a half. There's a human element to this, right? Todd Monken does not want to be vilified like he was last year for being very pass happy. You realize they only ran the ball 16 times, just inexcusable in that playoff loss to Kansas City a year ago. So now they have Derrick Henry. So that is their signature. That is their calling card, and they're just going to rely on it. And I like attempts more than I do passing yards because I think Lamar's going to have chunk plays, right? Leads the NFL in yards per completion, yards per attempt. So I think the big playability is there, but it's not an offense that's sort of matriculating up the field. And I don't think the weather is going to bring that out of them. There could be some of that, but ultimately they're going to run the ball. A week ago, he only had 18 attempts, I think it was, but the game script they were up 14-0 at half and 21-0 maybe at halftime. But also Pittsburgh had very 3 and outs. So I think Buffalo will have longer drives, so that maybe the game script won't necessitate running the ball to bleed clock in the second half, but Buffalo's time of possession will offset what Pittsburgh's was. So I just think, the opening drive last week, they started on the 5. They had a Derrick Henry run, then then a run formation that was a false start, then a pass play because it was 2nd and 11, I believe, and then 5 straight Lamar runs. Only one of them was a pass play that he took off and ran. So 4 of those 5 designed runs by Lamar. And then they also had Henry again. So I just think it's going to be and you talk about the ceiling and the floor, the most I can see him having is 33 in a crazy game, but I think he could have 20. So I just think there's more ways to win on the under than the over.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually think that there's, even if you see that bet going poor, let's put it this way, Doug, I'll be really surprised if Baltimore comes out and they're in shotgun throwing around on the field. I think there's going to be a very high emphasis early on running the ball. Those attempts numbers in the in-game markets will drop and drop and drop. If they get to a position where they're trailing by a lot, you could probably get off of that or even look for a middle in those types of situations. So I actually like that look. You misspoke. You said completions. I know you meant attempts at 20.
Attempts. Sorry, at 28 and a half attempts. And I like attempts more than completions because I think the guys are wide open because the defense is so focused on the rush that there are guys open all the time. So I do think, and he's evolved as a passer too. He's a much better passer. So it's attempts. 28 and a half, I believe, was where it was. I think it might have gone to 27 and a half, but I think this is a strong play in my eyes.
Yeah. Alan Lopez asks, any thoughts on Eagles opening 4.5 next week? I saw some 5.5 and 5, so maybe Washington took early money. I guess depends on the sports book. I just really quickly for me, Doug, There we go. FanDuel's 4.5. I couldn't bet the Eagles early because of the Hurts knee situation late in the game. I think that'll be talked about a lot this week. I could see myself betting Philadelphia later in the week, but I would like to see Hurts on the practice field in the early going. I look like a really awkward one, and I don't like to get. I don't think there's a rush at that point when one of the quarterbacks is dealing with an injury. I don't know what your thoughts are, Doug.
Yeah, I mean, this Washington defense is kind of getting by, and they're ready to get kind of rolled. Now, I love Jaden Daniels, everything about him, and I like so much of the execution on offense for the Commanders. But if Hurts is healthy and it's maybe not cracked ribs or whatever, or no, that was Stafford. So whatever the knee was, I just worry that he could re-injure it during the game. That would be my concern. And then he looks so helpless, like on that safety. He's just crazy, right?
I know.
But I don't like the Washington side. I mean, Detroit's defense was bad in general, but like really banged up. It was just one of those games, and I don't think much of Goff. I think the right side is Philly, but to your point, I need to know the health.
Yeah, I think Washington to me is a very tough team to value. Of all the teams in the league, or especially in the playoffs, because they went through that cycle mid-season of Daniels hurt, I actually don't even know what they really are. But I'm just going to do a quick play
and
clock.
A rookie quarterback. I agree.
Yes.
Like the power, players are allowed to improve. We forget that in college sometimes, like bowl games, end of the season. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver at Ohio State, he's not a freshman anymore, right? With 16 games or whatever under his belt. But like Jaden Daniels now, like he knows how to read defense. I mean, he's just so evolved, and he's older, coming into the league. So yeah, I would imagine their power rating like is exponential in terms of throughout the season.
Agreed. Henry for 1 on the first play of the game. My play clock is currently at 21, 20, 19, 18, 17.
You're way ahead of me.
On the second half.
5 seconds, I think.
Okay. Well,
my YouTube.
Yeah, this is the inherent challenge of doing these watch alongs nowadays.
Right. I had to turn my volume down when I do mine because I was so behind.
Also, we get to the point. It's really weird because I think Monday nights when I'm in the Toronto studio, I'm like way behind the rest of the audience. It really just depends on what service you're using, and there's no universal service. But so far, 2 runs for 2 yards, and already an early 3rd and 8. So this is one of the inherent challenges when everyone in the world knows what your game plan is going to be. You then have to execute it perfectly. And good start for Buffalo. We'll see if they could get off the field on 3rd down.
Did you have a lead in this game? I know you were saying you're not formally betting, but did you think a team's going to have a better chance to win?
So I made my raw number in the game was Baltimore minus 0.1. So my lean was Buffalo in the game. Yeah, that's I don't know how anyone could really have a lot of conviction on this game, if I'm being completely frank. Doug, I've heard the arguments of like the stylistic matchup advantage for Baltimore, and I agree, but I actually think that's really baked into the price at this point as well.
Sure.
So I was just really tough.
When I first moved to Vegas in 2005, I was into gambling, but young and whatever, pretty clueless. Good friend of mine who's super smart, like knows everything about the NFL, doesn't bet, but like, he's aware of the point spread. And he basically said, he's like, you realize like 90% of these games are decided by 3 to 4 plays. The outcome of the point spread is decided by 3 to 4 plays.
Yep.
Like 3rd and 4 in the red zone. Do they get the first down and eventually score a touchdown, or settle for a field goal or a big turnover, like the scoop and near score for Philly in the last game? Lamar's run, on 3rd and 9, the scramble, like if that pocket doesn't collapse, then maybe they're punting and now they could be on a scoring drive. So it's wild to, sit all week and break down a game. And this felt like one of those games that just, it's going to come down to a few plays, right? This is not a best of 7 series.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw Henry just drop that ball wide open, which is a little bit upsetting for me. I got some really good prices on Henry over 1.5 receptions. Could have used that one. And then now they're starting to work the play action a little bit more. So this is going to be interesting because there's some teams that would just come out and they would stick with their game plan. And I don't really know what Baltimore is going to do here now. But a little bit of play action that they're starting to work in here.
I mean, Chunk chunk, guys wide open, right?
Because, and this is what's going to happen if Buffalo's going to drop. Like, Buffalo doesn't want to drop their safeties towards the line of scrimmage. They want to give you a light box look, and they just completely have to change their style of defense here. I also wonder how
and
this
Buffalo's
feels.
weakness in general is stopping the run, right?
Yes. Yeah.
On D, yeah.
Yeah.
But Brady was talking about on the broadcast. What do you call it? Like a triple option with what Lamar did on that pass just now, just then, just the read. He could have handed it off, could have kept it or thrown it if he's facing like Jaden Daniels was last night.
Yes.
It's impossible to defend if it's if he makes the right read, right? He doesn't get juked by a collapsing D end but there's just such leverage and pressure put on the defense. Like and then Josh Allen does his version of it too. So I think this game's going to be decided as long as it's relatively clean by the final 4 minutes of the first half. If these coaches know how to play call, and Washington botched it completely a week ago. I tweeted a pic of it. They were up 7-3, going to get the ball in the second half. They had a perfect opportunity to milk clock and score it right before the half, and they screwed it up, kicked a field goal, and then they gave up a touchdown. So stupid. But that's really what it is, like how they call the plays on offense and burn clock on offense at the end of the first half. I really think that decides these games.
We got a touchdown for Baltimore.
Wow. So you're way ahead of me.
Right down the field. Rashad Bateman, wide open, to your point. It's like the second chunk. That was 3rd and 3 at the 16. So 16-yard touchdown. Wide open.
That's how Lamar has evolved as a passer. That's like his third read or something on that play.
You know what? Pocket. Bateman opened up. Like Bateman was covered on a curl route, and Lamar gave like a little pump fake, looked him off, and he just went in back there. It's a really tough offense to defend, man. It is a tough offense to defend. Isaiah Likely already hit his overs for the game, or his receiving yardage overs, I should say. So pretty.
Yeah, the safety committed to the flag route, I believe that is.
Yeah. You talked about the end of the first half being so important. What were the Eagles doing at the end of the first half today?
I think that's just Jalen Hurts sort of brain farting, right? Like, we're so used to these guys making the easy decision. And obviously from our vantage point in playing video games, like how we have the sky, whatever, our view, I just think there's a human error to some of this stuff where, you're looking downfield and you kind of see a guy, you feel the pressure, and then you just like kind of freeze, and all of a sudden you're on your way down. You mean the sack on 3rd down? Is that what you meant by the Eagles? And then just like, it was just really weird clock management, I thought, generally. We've seen a few times this year where they've done stuff like that. It was, they basically are just like, gave them ended up in a scenario where they had like a long play at the end of the half. I don't know, it's really put off by the way that they played that, but it's the NFL. It happens on a week. So first quarter line, I feel 13.5 now. It's minus 210-ish. Obviously that's a deterrent, but if it was any lower, I'd be looking it over, because even if the Ravens get the ball, I think back, they can score quickly. And then obviously the Bills offense can score on this defense. Remember, at the beginning of the year, this Ravens defense is pretty shaky. So at FanDuel, it's minus 160. I'm not ready to pull the trigger, but plus 6.5 is tempting, but you're also not sure you're going to get any field goals. It's tempted, right?
That's the issue.
I'm thinking of like the Bills Chiefs games a lot. I remember the first big one a few years ago went under because both teams like stalled and 4th down inside the red zone. So it was these long scoreless drives, and that can obviously kill an over under. So that's how I'm a little careful with this. But 13.5 minus 1, now it's 176. That feels so things to keep in mind. So you have drive props, because I love live betting, and I think there's opportunities. So Bills right now on this offensive touchdown is plus 180. Okay.
Yep.
So the tie for the quarter is plus 320.
Right.
Now, there's obviously certain scenarios they can drive and get a quick strike, run the kickoff back, whatever, and then Baltimore would have a lot of time. But then you stop trying to, weigh the plus 320 versus the plus 180.
No, yeah, I that's actually a good look. I like thinking about things in that manner too, because obviously you always have quick strike possible for Buffalo, but that's not really their offense anymore either. It's more methodical marching up the field. And you would imagine that a touchdown drive for Buffalo would take a decent amount of time off the clock.
Right. Baltimore had chunk plays and still took 5 minutes, 4:20.
Yeah.
But you got to make the extra point. I mean, you probably know off the top of your head what the percentage is.
In this type of weather, I would say it's got to be substantially worse.
It's a factor, right? We had 3 total missed extra points in the last game.
Yeah, and on top of that, Buffalo's kicker has missed a bunch of kicks this year as well. It's been a problem for Tyler Bass for most of the year. So yeah, I think that matters.
Yeah, so the plus 310 now, and you can play out of it too and stuff like that, right? And if they scored and took like a reasonable drive with 5 minutes to go, let's say it's 7-7, 14.5 would be like, it'd be probably pick them for another point to be scored. And that with these offenses, not with poor offenses.
Well, that's a difference of like 12.5% implied probability, right? And I definitely don't think that, when you think of the extra point make, I would much rather play that 310 and a tie.
And now it's 390. You're ahead of me, so there's a play so they probably had an incomplete or something. Yeah, but it's
he had him. Yeah, Matt Collins. Yeah, missed him. Matt Collins arriving today in his Hawaiian shirt and bare feet per usual. It's too good.
I feel bad for these whoever fan base loses, because there's so much pressure on them to get over the hump and get in the Super Bowl. I know the Ravens have in the past, but with this era of Lamar and all the scrutiny with the bill, like it's just torture.
The chat says that just for future, you don't have to change this now. If you want to, you can, but YouTube TV has a built-in delay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do that on my computer. I couldn't find it, or my iPad, which I'm looking at. I think I'm going to try it downstairs on my big screen later. So I did see that hack.
There you go.
Which is great, because I even saw a picture. Someone circled it at the bottom of the screen. I don't have it, but if someone knows how to do it on the website of YouTube TV, because that's what I'm using, and then the app of the iPad, then I'm all ears. So thank you for that. Yeah, no, I was trying to figure that out earlier today. I did see someone tweeting about that.
This feels like a game. So I don't want to compare this to Washington-Detroit yesterday, but I kind of do. It feels like a game where I'm going to look at the live total all game and be like, oh, that's a big number, but at some point, it's going to start with a 7 in this game.
What was the first part of your comment? I'm sorry.
It feels a lot like Washington-Detroit last night in the early going here. You have the 2 best EPA quarterbacks in the league, 2 MVP candidates. 57.5 is the live total right now, which is well up from the 52 that it closed at. I ordinarily, in a lot of circumstances, I look to play back towards what the pregame total was. In this instance, I'm just going to, I feel like I'm going to be looking at this for the first half, and I'm going to see 60s, 65, 70 at some point. I don't think there's going to be resistance from defenses in this game from what I've seen so far.
We got up to, I think, 80.5 or 81 last night. And I couldn't pull the trigger on the under. I was texting a buddy who said he did it at the time. He's like, that's just too high.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to put the ball in their studs' hands and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Allen missed, one guy, but sure enough, hit the guy down the middle of the field.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo's just got to not run the ball as much as humanly possible, I think. If they can stay out of running the ball, at least with their backs. Oh, man.
First quarter is 13.5.
First quarter is 13.5. And we're going to have a decision already for the Bills here. Really going. Yeah. Yeah. A few questions from the chat. Jacob says Johnson in on third, can get out of his receiving yards. Nope. That's kind of like a known thing that Ty Johnson's going to be in there in a lot of third downs. I don't think it changes much. Ryan's asking, do they go for it? I would assume that they're going to go.
Yeah, it's 4th and 2, but yeah, I think they're going to. So you tell me out of your head.
I would run a draw with Allen, honestly. I would just spread it out.
No play action like they did. No RPO like they did on third down.
I mean, they listened to my advice, Doug. Just sign me up to be an OC and spread them out and just let your quarterback that's bigger than most linebackers take it up the middle.
I always get a kick out of, these fourth and it's like these defenses are caught off guard that Allen might run. It's so funny sometimes, like safety's playing 50 yards back.
I know.
But I mean, look, it's easy for us to say, and there's, obviously there are elements, and going back to what I was saying, like we can see things from our vantage point and we have the score bug and everything.
Oh yeah.
We got to remember that it is a little bit more elaborate for them.
Well, that was my whole, so I'm in the vast minority with this take. I talked about it yesterday, right? The Chiefs game, right? Where it's like the officials are siding with the Chiefs. It's like, review these plays, right? Look at where the head ref has to throw the roughing the passer from on Will Anderson. It very much looks like he hits Mahomes in the head. It does.
Sure.
Now, should they be able to review that? I think yes. Of course, they should do something, but that's that. You look at the other roughing the passer when Mahomes slid. Yeah, it's a late slide. Yes, the Ravens guys hit each other. They also hit Mahomes directly in the head while he was, I mean, I don't love this. I don't like what football's turned into, but I don't think there's like this concerted effort for the referees to screw one team. You have to make calls in real time. That's challenging to do.
And they're like 70 years old too. It's like,
yeah, but the margin for error is like neck, chest, neck, head. It's like an inch basically. It's so hard to see that in real time.
Yeah, it's frustrating as a fan, but yeah. I mean, my issue was more like back in the day, wide receivers didn't go over the middle, right? Like that's why you had little guys like Dave Meggett and some other guys. They hung out from the hash marks to the sideline. They were out there, but the league wanted scoring, fantasy took off, all this stuff. So they started to reward teams for throwing over the middle. But
right.
That's the main reason we used to see scores 17-13 and things like that in 30 years ago, because they'd get their head decapitated.
Yep. Exactly. Listen, I think the NFL, I love the NFL. I'm going to watch games forever. Like I can't imagine myself not watching this league because of some sort of rule change or something like that. I do think they've gone too far on the pendulum from, letting the quarterbacks get killed to protecting them a little bit too much. And there needs to be some sort of balance at some point. But, this has been an incredibly entertaining weekend, I would say, of football. Incredibly entertaining.
Yeah. I completely agree. I enjoyed the the Houston game with Casey. I got annoyed with the penalties, but
yeah.
I just don't understand how, they're sitting in the room and then they all made a collective decision, the rules committee saying, no, let's not review it. Like that was a collective decision.
I don't get a lot of the decisions that are made for sure. And I think that the inconsistency can be frustrating as a sports fan, but it is what it is. So Ray Davis in, the extra point is good. So 7-7.
Okay.
So now when you see the three-way, the tie is minus 260 at FanDuel.
Right. So, and this is just to keep in mind for those listening that are relatively new.
Yeah.
It all adds up. So under 14.5 is minus 235.
Yep.
So is the extra 25 cents worth it for maybe they trade touchdowns, one kickoff return and think? I don't think so. I would rather do under 14.5 at minus 235 if I like that play. Just, shop like we know it from with props and like the NBA, like 7+ rebounds or over 6.5. Just there's a domino effect there that's worth checking out and sniffing around.
Levi says he bet it with his live boost. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, I honestly really like that look, Doug. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
As they were going, I was like, should have done that.
Well, see, because I live bet in a very different way than that. Sorry if I offend you with this. That's a very Fezzik-like thing to do in game. I'm more so navigating via watching how teams are playing, what the injuries are like, and that draws my fixation. Whereas you're looking at all these markets in real time, and that was 100% a much better bet. That's not to say it's a lock to win now, but anyone would bet, 3-1 or higher, and it's minus 260 with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the first.
Right, and you can hedge over 14.5 plus money, right?
100%. There's lots of options available to you now, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so I love betting first and third quarters, like typically. With these offenses, I won't bet unders really, but with right now, I'd be hammering the under with some of these teams that are with Houston and things like that with that little time left.
Agree.
I just never feel like the juice is enough. And just talking to odds makers, they're never really worried about minus money. They're only worried about plus money. So I feel like there is value in general, on some of these minus bets. Like first half in the Eagles game, I posted it and bet it under. It was 23 points, under 26.5 with like 5 minutes to go, and the Rams, I think, had the ball in their own 10 or something.
Right.
Or maybe it was I don't know, whatever. I was like, there's not going to be a touchdown here because they play conservatively on offense because they don't want to score too quickly. So they really have a small runway to like get that touchdown in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I liked under in the game and things like that. So I just felt some of these offenses are pretty pedestrian as well.
The big challenge with this one, so like Washington, Detroit to me was auto overs last night because of the way the game was playing out. You got a lot of explosives, but also because it's indoors. And that's the difference between that game and this game, where you don't listen. I'm not a meteorologist. I will admit I spent way too long today looking at weather forecasts and trying to make sense of what was going to happen in both games. And it's been impossible for me to do that, honestly. So you don't know what's coming later in the games, which makes this a little bit more challenging for an outdoor game as well. And the only reason that maybe I shouldn't go nuts on that live over. But wow, big hit on the kickoff there.
So seeing how the game's playing out, Lamar at another site, not FanDuel, I don't see it in terms of pass attempts, is back at its original line of 27.5.
Yep.
Obviously one drive, they got the opening drive. Bills will get the opening drive second half. So these are all things to rack your brain with. But I feel I'd still play under more than over for sure. The chunk plays and things like that. And they had a 3rd and 9 where Lamar was able to get a first down. Obviously, you could stop them too.
Right. I saw someone in the chat ask, and I'll get to it afterwards, about Sam Cosmi on the Commanders O-line because he tore his ACL. Cosmi has had a really good year, and they don't have a lot of interior depth, does Washington. They can move their backup tackle, Cornelius Lucas, over to center. We've seen that a little bit. And he's a very good O-lineman, or at least a good backup to have. But it's just going to hurt their depth overall because they don't. So, like, that's a type of thing where one O-lineman gets hurt against Philly, and that entire O-line could get cooked. So that would be the concern. It's just more so the depth for Washington on the O-line. Eagles lost corners too, though. Eagles lost Quinion Mitchell.
A lot of people overlook, right? Like a lot of people know that the defense for Detroit was mounting injuries, but O-line, I've talked to other modelers who I think like that's the biggest difference with modeling and people and casual fans, things like that.
We got a big play happening here right now.
Ooh.
I'll let you watch in real time.
Exciting. Yeah. Well, no, do it for the sake of the show. And if everyone else is ahead, then I can play catch up and stuff.
So I don't know what Lamar was doing here, but he just he just threw a terrible pass downfield. It's basically an arm punt right now, but you don't want to lose those possessions. And that was, ghost of Lamar past in the future, I guess. In the playoffs, yeah.
So 14.5 under 280. I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
I would play. Yeah. 43-yard line.
How high are the Bills up to live money line right now? Minus 150 range. Let me just quickly check across the board.
Yeah.
146 FanDuel. Where are the sharp books at? Roughly the same.
Is the 2.5 and 146 on par with what you think it should be?
Yes.
The difference in the juice and the spread.
Yeah, it is. Because the 2.5 is juiced out pretty heavily, right?
About 14.
Yeah. That split is a little bit different. Like when you consider, although they're all moving, they oddly everything moved towards the FanDuel number. Consistency across the market now. Tough one. I don't know. I don't have anything additional here.
3.5. I see a 3.5 elsewhere. Wow.
I do see that as well.
Look, they're going to get the extra second half possession, right? Like all that.
3.5 minus 25. Yeah. I also see a 1.5 minus 120.
I don't have my audio up. You have like closed captioning or anything? Did Romo say what happened there or anything? Was there
I
like a
don't.
miscommunication?
One of the challenges of doing this show is it's very hard for me to follow the commentary in real time because I have the headset in, so I have to pull to hear the commentary. I don't think you're getting that hard hitting analysis from Romo anymore.
I was
Sadly,
gonna say you're missing out on the dad jokes then.
yeah,
Stupid dad jokes.
it's funny because I watched the Rams earlier was Tarico Collinsworth. I haven't heard that combo in forever because I'm always live when I'm doing a live watch along. So yeah, I'm getting different perspectives now.
Some of it's not their fault. Like Brady, I get the criticism, but a lot of that's on the producers and the play-by-play guy. Like you got to ask them these questions. Like when you see a team running shotgun and Brady's on the call, shotgun and 4th and 1, like you have a guy who got a QB sneak and got the first down every single time he did it in his entire career.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask him his opinion of teams going shotgun? It's
agree.
a layup question, but I want to hear what Brady says. But they still don't do it. I don't get it.
My thing on Brady right now is Brady's has always been polarizing, even when he was a player, one way or another. People have very strong opinions on him. He mostly gets roasted for his commentary, which I will say sometimes can be very bland. You would like him to expand a little bit more, but I completely agree with you. He's not always put in the best positions to succeed. And when you have someone like that, sometimes you got to push for answers, and they're not just going to, he'll learn over time, I think, a little bit more. He's well-spoken, but I do find some of the commentary to be a little bit bland.
Yeah, and having worked with analysts and stuff like that, I'll do that. I remember sometimes when there was we were like the NFL team was on the road for the NFC Championship game, so I had to like man the studio in case the signal went out, and it went out once. So I sat there the entire game with Tim Hasselbeck and John Perry, the ref, and literally we were in suit and makeup, but like we didn't even go on air because the signal never went out. But I just asked him these stupid questions. Like I asked Barry Melrose once, can a sumo wrestler play goalie? Like things that we all want to know. So like I'm literally, and Tim, God bless him, was such a good sport about it. And I'm like, Tim, why are they going shotgun? He's like, like why can't we ask these questions? And they it's all cheesy, and it's just, I don't think these guys are pretty, especially Brady being new to TV. It's not his fault. Like ask him questions that you think can induce the best answers. And you can flush these out in meetings ahead of time. That's what we always did. So there's a way to do this. And you see a team doing shotgun on 4th and 1, you should, and Brady's there, you got to ask him because he did the sneak his whole career.
Yeah, so I'm in the exact same boat as you. It's kind of the way that I approach a lot of the interviews that I do myself in the betting space, is that I don't want to ask people things that everyone already knows, or you're going to get basic responses. I actually interviewed Barry Melrose many times when I want to say 13, 14 years ago. I remember I asked him, there was a lot of flu going around in the NHL, and I asked him about like containment of the flu within NHL teams and in the locker rooms and stuff like that. And another producer of mine, they're like, that was a really, really, I'll never forget this really odd question. I'm like, yeah, I mean, no one asks these types of things. So I think he was caught off guard by it though a little bit as well. So
yeah, when I first got to ESPN, I was hosting NBA Tonight, and it was like a half-hour show at like 2:30 a.m. But you get to watch all the games with like Chris Mullen or Flip Saunders, and I just got stories after stories after stories, and they barely get any time to weave it in because it's like a 14-game slate in the NBA, and you have a 30-minute show, which is really nothing. But you can find the one good nugget. And I remember Antonio Davis was telling me he's like still bitter about it because he lost like $5,000 because he bet another guy, a teammate, that their I think PR guy would bench the bar. So like after practice, they had him go. They went straight to the weight room and had him do it. Like the guy didn't stretch or warm up at all. Some little guy couldn't bench that he lost. He's like, how do you not bench the bar? But these are the stories that are memorable, to your point, something that you don't hear. But the problem with this, and I see some of the chats, and I do agree that Brady, and it happens a lot with new analysts, is they're trying to sound like an analyst, but then they turn into like dad jokes, and it's like, dude, you're not there because you're funny. You're there because you won. And I think the fan is so evolved now, whether it be Madden or whatever, like we now know what, certain technical terms are, and you don't need to dumb it down really that much anymore. I think the fan is really advanced.
Agreed. Like talking about a delay a game, and it's like, well, the referee has to check. I mean, we all know that at this point. We've all been watching football forever. We know how to, like, that type of stuff is it's just too simple for what it needs to be.
So 3rd and 17, would you pounce on under 28.5 first half thinking there's going to be a punt here?
Yes.
I mean, you're ahead of me. So
well, also, I mean, they 2 minutes got drained just by penalties. That's sometimes the beauty of betting. Neutral zone infraction. Well, another 30 seconds runs off the clock there. I don't know. Would you say the number was 28.5?
and
You're going to get like fireworks at the end of this first half, almost assuredly, I would think.
So, it's minus 20 at FanDuel. I don't know. I mean, I think the art of this stuff is to score not quickly, but some of these guys live in the vacuum and don't have blinders on because it's so hard to score in general, right? You can't be too cute.
I've seen more deep shots already in this game than I thought we would see in the entire first half, to be candid. I'm surprised at the amount of deep shots we've seen.
I mean, you really need like one punt after this one for it to go under 28.5.
Yeah.
But you're right. The deep shots, it's a little, but I mean, Lamar threw the interception. So that's something to keep in mind.
100%. They're going to go back to running the ball on this drive.
One would think.
Yeah.
But you can still turn it over on a run, of course. But the ball's not as slippery as it was in the last game.
Drunken Goon says wind doesn't seem to be much of a factor. Wind is, I don't want to say it's never a factor for Allen, but Allen has an arm. Like you need, I don't think the typical wind gusts tend to apply to Josh Allen passing. You've seen him.
And I know you're not a meteorologist, as you said earlier, but isn't like the bowl actually protect some of the wind too? I mean, they show flags at the top. That's different than what it is on the ground. Now, some of these college stadiums have U shapes, but obviously not here.
Yeah. It's more like this. I don't.
It has to be really severe wind for it to matter, in my from what I understand.
Oh yeah, we're talking like 25 miles an hour plus with these quarterbacks for it to be impactful. I need to do an off-season crash course into some more weather-related stuff as well. I do.
And to your point, like Josh Allen has a cannon compared to like some of these other quarterbacks.
Well, I remember, I will always remember that Monday Night Football game, the Bills-Patriots one from years ago, where Belichick, he wouldn't even throw. I think Mac Jones threw 2 times in that game. I'm not exact. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was 2 times, 2 or 3
First quarter went over because of that stupid long run. I remember I got burned on that.
Yes.
But the rest of the game just died. I think they stopped kicking extra points too.
Yeah, it was just weird that like the Patriots refused to throw. They're like, we're not even going to try. But the Bills were throwing it, and it's just more like of a testament to Allen's arm that he can actually throw in those conditions relative to Mac Jones. Where not, and that's not to say it was extremely windy for that game. I get it, but that was I'll never forget that game.
So 28.5 is minus 130. They have the ball essentially with a quarter to go on their own 10. I mean, just one punt by the next 2 possessions, I think you're golden.
I think so too. If you get a punt, I think you're in good shape. Unless it's one of those, really quick possessions of pass, then I think you got to burn a little bit of clock on one of these.
Let me see what this. So the completion, the pass attempts, I keep saying that, completions. Pass attempts is 26.5, so that's a short series. So DraftKings is at 27.5, and so is FanDuel now 27.5. Yeah. They just moved it, and that's obviously massive for those who aren't into. It's an extra possession, right? They're not going to go for 2, and unless there's a penalty, maybe on the touchdown or something like that. But for the most part, that's 3 scores, and that's what had me thinking. And I had a feeling it was going to change soon.
Yeah.
So that's why I was eyeing the under.
I think you just got to really hope that Buffalo has the ball inside the last 2 minutes of the half, and not Baltimore.
Because Baltimore scores too quickly, kind of thing.
Yeah, like for the pass attempts especially, that's where you're going to get like some Lamar pass attempts in bulk. But
sorry, I pivoted to the first half total, so it's now it went from the 27.5.
Oh, got it. Total. There. I thought you were looking at the long.
And I was about to say, I bet you it's a long run or first down because the first down helps the under, which is counterintuitive.
It's funny when I'm on a delayed stream and I have the live odds in front of me, how accurately I could, tell you what happened on the play.
Well, and what happens here is if they cross the 40, the side's going to move too. It's going to go above 3.5. So the Ravens, well, maybe not in a game line of 1, but usually that moves from 1.5, 2.5 to 3.5 once you cross the 40. on a drive like this for the first half line, not the game line, but first half line.
Last play of the first quarter was Justice Hill, 9-yard carry. I do have him over on rush yards. I need another half yard on Justice
Wouldn't
Hill.
you have done a hard count here?
Something like that. I guess you can kind of catch him off guard nowadays when you actually run a play. Because, everyone's doing the hard count. Everyone's doing the hard count.
I just love those situations where you have you have the option, and some teams just start walking off the field. It's so I was like, just waste. I mean, now the margins of error are just so tight, you can't afford this stuff.
Right. Yep. Totally agree. Well, Doug, best of luck with your bets. Lamar Jackson under, first half under. Appreciate you joining. You can check out Doug at Only Players. Link is on.
Oh shit! I lost you.
Got you there.
You back? I'm back. Can you back? Can you hear me?
I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun.
All right.
Good luck to your bets and everyone else in the chat as well.
Thank you. Doug Kazir and everyone. I do like Doug. That was a great angle, honestly, that he found on the first quarter tie. That would put the stream ahead for the entire night right there. That would put the stream together for the entire night. I noticed a lot of go ahead, Jason. Were you going to pop in and say something?
I just wanted to jump in. I don't know if you saw on the screen, but you could have actually parlayed it with like the Bills to score that drive and get like a slightly better price on it. So something to consider moving forward if you want to just click around on buttons. Because especially if the handicap is to score on that drive, and you're going to get a better price on it, put them together and you get an even better price. So
you paid for the Chinese food tonight. That's great to hear. Charlie says, I thought you were doing the frozen prank. So good. Okay, so listen, I'm just going to open it up there because I haven't had Doug on this season at all. Drop a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed Doug. Drop a 2 if you didn't. No hard feelings if you didn't. Just trying to get some different guests out there. I thought that was pretty good, man. He's very much in tune with what's going on in the game.
I enjoyed it a lot. He's really good at it, and it's kind of annoying for me because I want to jump in all the time and I can't when he's on because he's like actually making sense.
All right, we got like 98% ones, so that's gonna. I think Doug might be a regular going forward. Way better than Albers. I mean, it's you can't really get worse. I do really like Doug. Every time I'm in Vegas, I try to meet up with him. He's just a great guy to hang with. And it's a lot of love for Dougie K in the chat. From one person that I respect and like a lot to another, my guy, China, steps up and in.
What's happening? How are we doing tonight?
You know what? I'm doing okay. This looks like a good football game right now. That's kind of all I wanted. It's been a good weekend of football.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll drop a 1 on Doug too as well. He was good.
Yeah,
solid.
I 1 second. I think we just got another. Okay, that's going to cash for everyone. Justice Hill's up to like 20 yards now after that run, so we're good. That one has cashed. That's nice. Look, you China, you're good luck, man. You came in the waiting room right when Justice Hill got his first carry to end the quarter, gets his second one there, 2 for 20. We're laughing it up now.
Are you on cable now? Because I think weren't you a stream guy before, or are you streaming?
I told the cable company I'm not accepting anything but the quickest that they got. And they said to me, then we got to put you on old school satellite. Someone's going to come install a satellite dish at your house. I'm like, do it. I don't care.
Okay.
They're like, you might have to occasionally wipe it out with the broom whenever it snows. I'm like, I don't care. I'll do that. I'll pay to be on real time.
All right. Because I remember before, I think you and Johnny got into this once, and he was calling you cheap for streaming and not putting in the cable. But you were like dying on that hill.
No, it wasn't that. So I was still paying for cable, but it was like fiber optic. And there's like a little bit of a delay on that relative to just the stream. And Johnny was grandfathered in by a company where he was on their old boxes, and he never returned the old boxes. But now they're trying to shift to like this internet TV, slowing everything down.
Right.
I can't do that.
Right.
I can't. It's hard to live bet and do that.
No, not if you're watching live betting. I mean, you're going to lose so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on stream, so I'm behind you for sure.
Bart asks if they have antennas in Canada. I mean, 51st state of the United States. Let's get it right.
I know. It's kind of what's that? It's coming tomorrow, right?
It's That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. Yeah, I saw Melania coin got launched today.
That got dropped, yeah.
And there goes like half of Trump's net worth. Like the sell-off happened like crazy. I really want to be involved in this stuff nowadays, but like I just don't have the wherewithal to do this.
It's hard to have to be involved with the meme coins?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just another time thing. Like, you got to just give up so much of what you're doing now. Your focus goes off of that. But like, look at the amount of money you can make like in these meme coins now. It's crazy. It's literally taking small shots and you can make generational wealth. Some guy bought $1 million worth of the Trump coin like when it launched, and he's still holding it. It's worth like 360 million. I saw.
Yeah,
crazy. So like all of these. I mean, even like the Hawk Tua rug pull scam, like even that stuff. You just get in and just dump it. I mean, that's all you got to do.
Yeah. Now, this is not financial advice for anyone out there. I do want to point that out. Steven does point out, there is an amount of money you can lose. You can absolutely lose. I'm not pretending like you can't lose. But for someone in my position, I have, and this is not to be egotistical or arrogant, I have a little bit of higher risk tolerance. I mean, I bet on sports for a living. I'm just used to dealing with these types of situations. And when you have an opportunity to put down decent amount of money to make an insane amount of money, I take those shots every now and then. I just,
Right.
Like Chris is upset. He's like, Rob, investing in me. Sure, it's bad advice. Doesn't mean I don't have FOMO and want to mess around,
Yeah. Well, Baltimore's just cutting through them like cheese.
Yeah. Who caught that ball? That one before Miller. I think he was on the field last week for them as well. Might have to go some live touchdown markets on Anthony Miller. 23.
He's a stud. I mean, not NFL wise, but he was a stud in college at Memphis. Like really, really, really good.
Yeah. You know what? I am going to bet that, and that's just going to be a FOMO bet. I don't even know that it's a great price, but that I like to bet these guys when they come into the game. I just got locked really quickly. We'll see what it reopens at. Oh, I see why it got locked, China. I see why it got locked. Wow.
Did he smash one?
Well, it's let's just say this is looking to be like a classic Lamar playoff game right now so far. Classic Lamar playoff game.
Okay. Well, that's good for me then.
Are you on the Bills tonight?
I sprinkled some Bills money line like 5 minutes before the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wish I had done the same. I live with a lot of regrets in life. Not having a position in this game is a major regret. Major regret.
Yeah, I had a couple of props, and then I was loading up the stream. I had a couple minutes to go. I went on there. I think I got plus 113. Of course, once I bet it at plus 113, it moved to plus 114. Like, maybe this isn't a good bet, but whatever.
I see. Washington Phillies now up across the screen right now. FanDuel we showed was 4.5. Circa's at 5, which is interesting.
Wow, GRP finally got a line right. He predicted 4.5 on that.
I didn't think it would have been 4.5 yesterday. After watching Philly today, Hurts knee injury, Quinion Mitchell left the game, another corner left late, Rodgers. I mean, they got pretty beat up as well. So I think that plays into it a little bit.
For sure.
I've been watching some of your Twitter series recently.
The stuff I've just been hitting play on and just going off. Yeah.
I was going to say, like, what goes into that? Because some of those are like 2 hours long.
I did. The first one I did was like an hour, and then the last one I had a few pretty deep stories to tell where there were a lot of little details that just added up, and it went for an hour and a half. So I just decided to hit play one day.
That's good, because if you do that, especially when it's unedited like that, it's pretty raw. Like you just get a real version of everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad it's going well. People are taking notice.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably. I'm not gonna like plan to release like a schedule or anything like that. Like if I have stuff to talk about, I'm just gonna hit record and just upload it.
But you know what? That's the best way. That's the best way to do content, right?
Right.
When it's not forced and you're just like, yeah, I really have something to talk about. I want to get it out there.
Right.
And that's kind of the point I've gotten to with Circles Off now, right? We did a weekly episode for a long time. And then it gets to the point where I'm just like, it feels like I'm kind of forcing this episode this week. Like, would we do this if we weren't, if we hadn't just been doing a weekly episode forever? And a lot of people were asking me about Circles Off, what the plan is. Well, plan is just to do content when I want to do content, as Josh Allen's in the end zone here as well.
I mean, you guys have had every big name, small name, medium name. I mean, you've consistently done it for years now. So like, yeah, I guess it could reach a point where you're like, yeah, maybe we are just churning out a little bit too much and, dial it back, cut back on some time. And when you do an episode, it's going to be with somebody that you really want to interview or whatever.
I'll tell you, I'm interviewing someone tomorrow. I won't say when the episode will come out, but it'll probably come out Thursday. That is a
big bomb banger.
I think it will be. I don't know until the interview happens, but I think people will generally.
I think you might have told me who this was. Is it who you told me who it was?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. He will not. He's not coming on an interview anytime soon. That's very different. But this one, anyways, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to tease it a little bit.
Right.
I think people will be really interested.
Right.
In this one.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be in his best benefit to come on, but who knows?
Yeah. Probably not at this point.
No.
Yeah, probably not.
I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah. Showtime says Haralabob is the only big one left. I reached out to Haralabob a couple times. He never got back to me. So I don't. Honestly, I'm looking at Haralabob's Twitter every day. Guy has made so much in crypto. He owns like a Spanish soccer team. I don't really think he's going to be in the interview business for much longer. There's just no real reason for him to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's only done like 2 interviews like in the last 5 years. I know he did I think he did Spanky, and I think he did Joe Ingram's poker podcast there. That was a pretty good one. That was a really good interview. If anybody is looking to hear a good Haralabob interview, he told some really good stories on there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one, I don't think. I mean, I knew growing up, I knew Haralabob as a poker player. I used to watch him on TV. High Stakes Poker, I want to say, maybe when I was younger. Or Poker After Dark, something like that. And I never knew him as a sports bettor. It wasn't until I got involved in the space. And then like every day I would be updated on what Haralabob is on. Bob wants this, Bob's on that. That I really knew him as that.
I'll tell one of the stories now because it's pretty fresh in my mind, but he had a good story about, this is when I don't think he was at the height of his NBA betting, but he was still probably betting humongous. And he had a laptop in his room at Commerce Casino, and someone must have went in there and keylogged it so they could get all his data coming in on their screen on another computer somewhere else. So he would send plays out and they'd be able to see it because they had like a clone of his screen, and the markets were just getting blown up before he could get his stuff down. So I guess he finally realized that, something was off, and he just started sending all the plays the wrong way, and they would just move the market, and then he would just clobber it on the other side. I don't know how long it lasted for, but that was an interesting story for sure.
It is. The game within the game. Game within the game.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is what I got for sweats tonight. I got Andrews.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get up and like show me like some Lululemon pants or something like that. I was like, what the
I do have some sweats on.
So do I. I'm like, you want to compare sweats? I mean,
I'm rolling with Reebok tonight. So Yeah, Reebok. So yeah, I got Andrews over 3.5 receptions. I think he's been blanked so far.
Yep.
And I have Benford under 4.5 tackles assists, minus 165.
3 so far.
He's got 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not looking so good, but you never know with these unders sometimes. Sometimes they just sit. Actually, he's at 4 total, it this says.
I got official NFL scoring right now.
Okay.
Two tackles, 1 assist right now is what he's logged. Maybe that could change. I don't know, but that's the official NFL one.
Where is that, on NFL.com?
It's the media site that they give out to the media members, NFL GSIS. So I have like a login for that. Tends to be pretty good in terms of man, I don't even know how Lamar ended up getting this much yardage out this play. I have no idea. Looked like he was going to get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Guy gets 11 yards. What I like about you, China, is you come on, you see, you told us your sweats, but you didn't just give us the ones that were winning. You're a real man. You give out the ones that are also losing. You know, it's
two of them getting crushed. Gotta keep it real.
You got to keep it real, man. Have some good days. You have some bad days. It's just life.
I could have given you I could have told you I had 10-1 on Lamar losing a fumble, but you know, just not that type of guy.
No. Yeah, you could have come on and just Isaiah Likely overs, Khalil Shakir overs. You know, the guys already are producing numbers.
Right.
That could have been it. Sick Boy says, China, any natty player props you've got in your fill on that has some edge left? So that's tomorrow night, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I actually I'll give you one now. I did Ed Feng's podcast that came out this morning. I gave one on there. I'll give it out here. The same one. It's Aeneas Williams. He's like a kind of a third down back.
Yep.
For Notre Dame. I don't know. His reps could be limited. We have his under 26.5 receiving yards to as low as 24.5 probably. There's 24.5s out there right now. It's probably some 25.5s. I've seen some 26.5s. Came out at 21.5. Someone influential in the college prop market posted it, and it got driven up to 26.5. We kind of like the 21.5, like out of the gate, as just a lean without looking into anything.
Yep.
And then we saw the 26.5, and we're like, all right, we got to take a shot on this. That's like the most glaring prop that jumped. I wouldn't say it like jumped off the screen, but it was glowing a little bit looking at it. That, you know, it could be a dud, but if they're in a negative game script, he also, you know, he could crush it. Ohio State did have. They had a tough time covering running backs last week too. So that's another thing, but I think they'll clean that up. So
yeah, 25.5 minus 115 under is best in market right now.
Okay.
So for anyone who's looking, I got that up on the odd screen right now. Kevin says, China, remember you from Never Win Poker, LOL, loving coming across you in a new venue.
Yeah, that's a long time ago too. I got on that poker forum in 2003. I probably had 20,000 posts on there. 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's when I wasn't a pro poker player yet, but that's how I learned a lot of the stuff about playing professional poker, etc. was on that forum. That was probably the second biggest forum in the world at the time to 2+2. Massive forum.
The forum days have just become Discord days now, right? Like I can't get used to Discord personally. But back in the day, I was in all these forums. I remember Capper's Mall for betting, where like all the tout picks got posted regularly, the newsletters, stuff like that. Yeah, those were good days. Good days. Yeah, everyone knew everyone in those forums.
All the AOL chat rooms, and you know, you're in 10 different chats. I mean, it's kind of like that with like Telegram and stuff now, but it's not the same thing where you're just chatting about this, that, the other thing with like, you know, 10, 15 people consistently. And that's another reason why I don't go into those Discords, because the huge time suck. It's just a massive time. You could get stuck in there. Like after I did Circles Off a couple of years ago, someone's like, oh yeah, these guys are talking shit about you in this Discord. I think it was the Raz Discord. And I went in there. Yeah, I went in there and I went at it with Broner for like 3 hours.
Do you guys get along now?
Yeah, I met him at Bet Bash last year.
That was the thing. So I do want to talk about that in a second. This is a big play to Rashad Bateman over the middle of the field. So it's going to be first and goal, Ravens. Taylor Rapp was on that cart getting taken away for the Bills. So that's going to present an issue in the secondary at safety. Immediately, Baltimore takes a shot downfield, which I found interesting. Of all the episodes I've done of Circles Off, that one was like one of the most polarizing.
Right.
Because no one really knew who you were.
Right.
But everyone that I had reached out to who did know who you were. Oh, so that was Milano.
Right.
Milano carted off? I'm sorry, I'm confused here. I thought that was Rapp. I could be wrong. Just caught it really quickly. Yeah, so like there was people in the comments that are like, there's no way this guy's a winner. There's no way. And I'm like, well, you know what? Like I'm talking to a lot of people and they're all telling me that he's winning. He's been winning for a long time. And I think that was truly an eye-opening episode for some people, especially when it came to props, because people could not believe that you could win at props by just like looking through game logs and box scores and stuff like that. And
another one was who was it? Oh yeah, Ferris. I met Ferris at Bet Bash last year, and he even said to me, he goes, I'll be honest with you. He goes, I was one of the ones that was skeptical and thought you were full of shit. Yeah. And then like he talked to somebody, you know, that like a pretty big mover and was moving my plays or something. And like, no, like I don't know, like yeah, he probably does win, or he does win. You know what I mean? And he was like, all right, and that's what he, you know. So yeah, I mean, and also. I was kind of in the dark before that episode too. It's not like I was this big Twitter personality. I wasn't giving out props, picks, or, you know, I actually went over that with Ed when I did his podcast last night. Was like, I wouldn't have done any of this media in like 2016 to like 2021, 22, just because like, even when I was on Circles Off, like, you guys would ask me like, so you're doing mainly NFL props. And I just kept saying, I do football props because I didn't want to say, you know, I'm like, I probably do the highest volume of college football. I would think out of anybody. I could just tell by how the markets are. And I didn't want to come out and say that because if I did, then my market could get just absolutely annihilated, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah. I mean, I could read between the lines with some of the answers as well, but maybe it wasn't apparent to some people who are watching out there.
Right.
But yeah, I get it. It's one of the challenges for sure.
But that's like another thing now. Like the college market was so soft when I started, all the way up until even a couple of years ago. But I would say, as far as toughness, it's close with the NFL now. The information's all out there.
Yeah.
And when those markets open, they get hit, and they get hit right away. And if you're not on it, then you're just looking at stale numbers.
Yep. Completely agree with you there. So there's a few things I want to get to really quickly here from the chat. So Jeffrey the Giraffe says, hey, was that Andrews over half rush yards? It was, but Andrews mostly closed 1.5 at a lot of spots. I think a lot of people were looking at him being the short yardage guy lining up under center. But there wasn't a lot of half out there at post. That was widely available. It's mostly 1.5. So anyone who got that early, they might have ended up cashing on that, which would end up being a good one. I did notice that Derrick Henry drop over the middle. It's the second one of the game, which will kill over 1.5 receptions plus 185. Unreal. What are you going to do? Such is life. You take it in stride. So it looks like everybody got the Andrews half last night from the watch along. There
Andrews
you go.
Over a half. How you gave that play out? Yeah.
I won't take the credit for it. It was brought up by someone in the chat, but it was something that they utilized in short yardage last week. They basically are running the tush push with Mark Andrews, essentially. And that was a big one.
I'm looking here. 4 of the last 7 games, he's had a carry, or 4 of the last 7, he's had positive rushing yards, and he had a carry in another game where he got nothing. Was that like what was the line on that? What was the money? Over a half.
So I gave it out on Saturday. I talked about it Saturday pizza buffet, and I want to say it was half minus 115, minus 120.
Sure.
There was, in Ontario we have Pinnacle here. It was minus 121 on over half today. I saw that this afternoon. I don't know if it closed there, but the whole market pushed up to 1.5, which is a big difference, obviously, when you know that your rushing attempts are going to be quarterback sneaks, basically, or tight end sneaks, I should say.
Right.
Situation. Yeah. All right. Baltimore kicks. So 14-10 right now. Bills. Entertaining stuff. Baltimore got the ball to start the game. So Bills, if they could go down the field here and take as much time off the clock as possible, they're going to be sitting very pretty.
Right.
Here right now.
And they're getting the ball first, right? Second half?
Yeah, because Baltimore went down the field on the first drive and scored right away.
Right.
I can't even tell if this is a joke or not. It's almost certainly a joke by Mike Vivian. GRP just bet Andrews most rushing yards for Super Bowl.
Oh, probably. I would not doubt it.
He has been taking some lines that they're missing a 0 at the end. Let's put it that way.
Well, he sees something happen. All right, this guy got a sack, Super Bowl MVP.
I think GRP looks at the NFL futures market like it's a meme coin, basically. Like he's looking to make generational wealth, right? It's like, which offensive lineman can I bet? Like random defensive player can I bet at this point?
Right. Well, the way he talks about that stuff is, it would make him famous if he hits one of them. Like it'll make him like Brad Pitt famous in the sports betting world.
Yes. Well, that was always the Vegas Dave approach, right? Where, listen, I can't confirm that this was true. I never bought picks from Vegas Dave, but it was pretty widely talked about or known that he would just place a future on like every baseball team every year to win the World Series.
Yes.
And of course, you're going to lose money doing that because of the VIG on every team, but it is going to be a marketing tool for you over the course of the year.
And I think the big one that like kind of put him big on the map was the Royals. I think it was a super long shot. I don't know how far it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a big long shot. And that's, he probably went out and bet 20 futures on 20 different teams. And that was one of them.
Yeah. Alan Lopez says, wrong one. James Cook hurt, ? I didn't see if he got hurt on that play, but remember the Bills rotate their backs. Like James Cook only played 45% of snaps last week. He is like their number one, but they will get Ray Davis time. They will get Ty Johnson time. So I didn't see whether or not he was hurt, but I didn't hear the injury siren.
Yeah. I'm a big Ray Davis guy here. I like Ray Davis a lot. I'm not sure how he'll be in the passing game or the pass protection game, but this guy's a little tank. He can run.
Ray Davis has been good for this stream this year. He's our guy. Ray Davis has been our guy this year. Early on in the season, for sure, when the market was like kind of slower to catch up to him. But I'm a Ray Davis guy. Okay, 2-minute warning. 2nd and 1, Baltimore 38. The live market, Buffalo's now minus 5.5, minus 110 live line, which is what we played in our SGPs. The SGP is live. Again, second night in a row, we're very live. So we sold prior to the game to get Buffalo to minus 5.5. We played Josh Allen under rushing yards, 47.5. He is currently at 7. And we played Lamar Jackson 80 plus rushing, which he's at 32. And when they're trailing, I mean, we at least have a real ticket. Let's just put it that way.
There we go.
We have a real. That's fun. What are your plans for the Natty tomorrow night? Are you watching at home? You going to do something big?
See, the last couple of nights I've been out of the house, so I'm probably going to stay home, record it, get my kid to bed, and I just won't be watching it in real time. I'll just catch up on the recording. That's what I usually watch it at home, but
I've had to do those before, China. I got to tell you, it's painful for me in a big game not to be on Twitter in real time.
I'll tell you what happened a couple of years ago. I think it's the college basketball one that kicks off at 9, and I was so drained from just betting all day and all that type of stuff, and then I settled down, and the game had started, but for some reason mentally I thought it was kicking off at 9 o'clock. But I was mixing it up with the college basketball title game. And then I turned it on. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? There was, I don't know. And the first quarter was over.
Yeah. Yeah. They'd already played a bunch of that game.
Yes. But tomorrow I probably will release every prop or most of the props that I played on the game sometime later in the afternoon or early in the evening. I'll post them all out there at what I played them at. I have no idea where they're going to be around then. But there are some slow-moving books where you could probably get the same prices that I got.
That means no live betting for China. Correct. Not until he catches up. Michael says, does your guest think Notre Dame has a chance to win tomorrow?
Yes. I would say they're a live dog for sure. Just because of the physicality on both sides of the ball. It's not like last year, I felt there was like a clear mismatch with Michigan and Washington, both sides of the ball. Even though Washington had the best rated O-line in the country in the year before, obviously Georgia was totally outclassed over TCU. But I have Notre Dame with the points. And the only reason I really took it was because I think whatever Rufus has is like a 5-point discrepancy in where the line is. I think his model or whatever the Massey Peabody thing has it at like 3 or 4 points,
right?
And it's 8.5, and he's had massive discrepancies on this game in the last 2 years, and they've always been the right side. So
I will say, he gets roasted a lot for being that far off mark, and there's something wrong for him being that far off market, but you just have to be directionally correct for it to be. So it's. I'm sure the fair value in the game isn't really Ohio State 3, but you just have to be directionally correct for it to be worthwhile.
Yes.
Oh,
so whatever. I'm not doing any work on the sides and totals. So if I'm not doing any work, then I'm just going to follow somebody who is putting some type of work into this, who I know is sharp, and he's one of the sharpest guys. So I'll just tail the pick. I just tailed it blindly. I got 8.5 minus 108.
Right.
And I have no idea if that's still out there. I think there's a lot of 8s. You might be able to find an 8.5.
Yeah, I'll check right now. CAA football main. Yeah. There's lots of 8.5s.
8.5s, yeah.
Oh, you could. I mean, listen, you probably can't bet much at the Canby books these days, but the Canby books have 9.5.
Right.
As well.
Okay.
FanDuel's got 8.5 right now, minus 114.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say the value in this game has totally went down the toilet. At least this year. This is the worst set of props I've ever seen for a playoff game, or it's just all vanilla. They all look priced like pretty efficiently. They did a very good job, I think. So the value in this game compared to where it was 5 years ago, even a couple of years ago, maybe it's just because of the matchup, and you just don't. Notre Dame's not like an explosive offensive team where you can maybe pick a hole here and there. Yep. We feel that the lines are just really snug and tight on all the player props in this game.
Yeah. Like I'm a top-down bettor when it comes to college football player props. I don't originate them at all unless somebody sends me some stuff that I'll just pretty much bet it. But so I'll probably be waiting literally till 15 minutes before post tomorrow, and then just picking off. Honestly, maybe even 5 minutes before post. Try not to get any CLV on a lot of this stuff right at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, all the notes that I have here over the past whatever many years is, yeah, if you wait 45 minutes to, up to 15 minutes before, you're going to get higher limits on some books, and you're going to get, a guy might move from 80 to 90. Like, you might be able to get Jeremiah Smith at 90 before the game tomorrow night.
Right.
On some books, it's possible.
Yep. Yeah, it happens. I mean, and been doing that pretty much all year. I honestly, first half of the year was not great with that methodology, but I stuck through it, and it's been really, really good down the stretch for me. So, and again, yeah, I'm just trying, like, absolute last minute, right? Hopefully I could get that bet in, and it's an off market price, but it doesn't move at that book. That's the dream scenario for me at this point.
Right.
Baltimore's got no timeouts left, so this 3rd and 5 here is going to be big for Buffalo. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they ran a draw play or Allen ran it himself, just to ensure the clock keeps ticking no matter what.
Right.
Because then they can make a decision as to whether or not they want to go on 4th down. But nope, they're taking a shot. I actually don't know who this flag is on, to be honest. Buffalo's celebrating, but
what's your take on the KC and the refs? Is there something there or what?
I mean,
or do you think it's just one of these things?
Yeah, I've reffed football before. Really quickly, I'm going to answer that question. I don't think that I think that was a very suspect call. Just going to throw that out there. Don't love that call.
Did they call that on Baltimore? Because I'm right behind you. I just saw
they did. Play. They called that on Baltimore.
Looked like the Buffalo guy
maybe a defensive hold before the route, but if anything, you can call OPI too.
Right.
You can't, if you're getting held as if a defensive player is holding an offensive player, doesn't give you the right to throw him to the ground and get yourself open either. I don't know. That was a weird one. I personally didn't love that. I've done reffing before, football. Not obviously, I'm not an NFL ref or anything, but you have to make a lot of decisions in real time. There's a lot of human error involved when you're making decisions in real time. You see things once, you don't see them through the lens of watching a play in slow motion after the fact. And there was like some bad calls when we review them after the fact, but you gotta make calls in real time.
Right.
That's it. At the end of the day, it's really on the league. They gotta allow for some sort of quick review process of this.
Right.
Quick reviews. It's not like we have to wait 45 minutes for the fucking ref to go on to the sideline and look at the score. Like, wear an earpiece. They should be able to overturn the call really quickly if it's not a call.
Especially on these roughings. Like, if it's not a roughing, you just can't give 15 yards to the other team because I don't know. They have to find a way to review those.
Yeah, they got to. So no, like I don't think it is a concerted effort by the league to screw over the Texans or make the Chiefs win. I don't believe that. I think the Chiefs win games because they're really good at winning football games.
Of course,
they just have a really good culture. They have a quarterback who, in high leverage situations, outperforms everyone always.
Yes. It was always like people always said that about the Patriots too. They get all the calls, but then you look at the data, and Brady was like middle of the pack at like roughing or like those. Or whatever, any kind of penalty like that he drew. He was like middle of the pack or lower.
Yep.
Because he didn't hold on to the ball long. The ball was gone.
Agreed. Josh Allen's second TD of the game right here. So this is a very good position. Very good position. I did actually look at Allen 2+ TDs, but the best I could find was like 750, I want to say, before the game. Plus, I'm like, I can't pull the trigger at this number. I can't. The Ravens are in big trouble right now. They are in big time trouble.
Massive trouble. 16 seconds to go here. not getting the ball in the second half.
I mean, they got to be at least a touchdown dog right now. And I'll pull this up really quickly, but they need to be at least a touchdown dog in the game. With Buffalo getting the first possession of the second half, 7.5 FanDuel right now.
Yeah, and they're not,
7.5 across the board.
They're not built to come from behind. They're efficient, great, moving the ball up and down the field, but like when you need fast scores, I don't think that's their game.
Agreed. They're in a situation that they don't find themselves in often. And I ordinarily would be fine with the Ravens coming from behind if they had to pass the ball if Zay Flowers was playing. But they're missing their most dynamic weapon on offense as well.
Well, they go down one more score, it's three possession game.
Yeah. In McDermott's got to tell these guys you got to keep the pedal to the metal in the second half, though. They can't play too conservative, let the Ravens back into the game. They have to just try to score every possession. Oh, man. Line prediction for Bills Chiefs. We had this before. The look-aheads or the early lines, I want to say were Chiefs -1.5. Something along those lines. I do think that if Buffalo goes on to win this game in the manner that they're winning right now, people will want to bet Buffalo next week against Kansas City.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, and I'm in the opposite boat camp.
Yeah, but just because people are sick of Kansas City,
I that's what's going to happen. I mean,
they want to see Allen break through. This is going to be fresh in their mind.
Right.
But Kansas City's just that good. They're good.
They just, when you need Kansas City to win a game, especially the line's going to be around, it's going to be short of a Kansas City field goal. So essentially you're just going to be asking them to win the game next week. They just find ways to win games. It feels very repeatable with the Chiefs. It looks ugly. They win. Yeah. That's what they do. That's what they do. All right, China.
All right.
Halftime. Good to see you. Good luck on the Natty tomorrow.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, and we're going to need all that luck with these this not so great card tomorrow. So
yes. And if you don't follow China on Twitter, go over to Twitter now at China Maniac. Give him a quick follow. He's solid. One of the most reputable bettors out there. And generally a good guy as well, which, he doesn't like the drama.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. China Maniac, everyone. This is the tough portion of the broadcast where Jason has to join a little bit.
Why? What's wrong with me? Some people like me. Some people don't. That's okay.
Give me a percentage on our SGP, Rob. Well, we can do that. We can put the same bets in right now, and we can calculate what it's paying in real time. Roughly.
It'll be a little harder on the Allen unders because we're going to get a worse price. But
yeah,
what was the last leg? It was Bills, Allen, and Lamar over 80+, right?
Yeah, it was Lamar 80+, Allen under 47.5. Bills -5.5. It's
16-1 with Josh Allen at 37.5, which is,
and we're getting extra 10 yards on Josh Allen. So realistically, we probably got a 10-1 ticket right now.
Yeah.
Which we got it much higher than that. I actually kind of like this. It's from Simone Hunter, the Jizz and Piz segment.
And his picture. Let me pull that back up again. His Mahomes and the refs jersey swap.
I'm going to break down the second half in a minute, Jay, but I'm giving you question time for a couple minutes. Going to refill of water. Take a quick leak. So
question time. Patrick Burns is going to get mad because he's going to be the first question I answer. What did it pay pregame? I believe it was in the 33 to 35 to 1 range. Chat, you can correct me on that one. Get these questions in. If you want to know about snap splits, I can tell you guys that as well. Quickly, I want to talk about the reffing stuff. Guys, if the Bills win this game, that pass interference was completely like a massive swing towards the Bills. And I want to see the same people complain about the Chiefs getting every call, complain about the Bills. Because, I mean, that would really help them out. How did I meet Rob? I applied to this job and I got it. That's how I met Rob. Patrick Burns asking me who is going to win the Super Bowl. I have 2 tickets, Chiefs and Eagles. Placed them both preseason. We'll see how they do. Hopefully they do well. I think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. That's it. I'm only going to answer questions that I'm allowed to legally answer. Have you and your barber gotten together yet? No. I'm going to save that for some off-season content. I think I would probably guess Zach. Seems like Eli is like Zach better, but I'll leave it up to the chat. Please say the 3 legs of the SGP. It was, I don't remember the exact number on Josh Allen. It was Josh Allen under rushing. I think it was 47.5 range. It was Bills -5.5. And it was Lamar Jackson 80+ rushing yards. And the Josh Allen rushing 47.5 was his rushing total, obviously, towards the under. Did I bet the 49ers in the Super Bowl last year? No. If you actually tuned into our prop show, I bet the Chiefs money line last year. Yeah. Any other questions? I think that's it. Is Jane Daniel yes, Commander Burger, you win.
Is he?
Close. Like, he's close.
Yeah, he's 5th or 6th. It depends on whether or not you think he's better than Herbert.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, but I feel like we've given Herbert a lot of outs, and like Jane Daniel, you know what? Maybe Jane Daniels just, I don't know. Would I feel differently about Joe Burrow if he didn't make it to the Super Bowl? Like, maybe. And is that like affecting how I feel about Herbert? I don't know. But
there's some people out there that still think that that Burrow is a below average quarterback.
Is that who? Who would that be? Don't tell me that's Joe A.
I mean, you said his name, not me. You knew.
Right. Guys,
it's a very weird opinion because Joe Burrow, he's white. Joe Burrow's white. So you wouldn't expect that Joe A would have that opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. That's the last person I would expect.
Are we going to do a punt parlay? It feels like this is not the game to do it, but we said that last night, and then we got the first punt.
Yeah. We can't bet receiving unders. I was going to say like an inverse correlation on Nelson Aggie, because they're going to be taking deep shots with Aggie.
Yeah, I know. His name's not that long. Aguilar is fine to say. We don't have to call him Aggie.
It's like negative. There's a negative connotation to Aguilar, though, because like I just think about like the guy who's like, I
have no idea what you're saying.
The Aguilar guy dropping babies like Aguilar, or catching babies, unlike Aguilar when he was on the Eagles.
You said dropping babies first, though.
Catching babies, dropping
canceled.
balls, whatever.
You get canceled. When we say Burrow is overrated, where is he rated?
That's a good question.
Because I don't know. Like, I think the league pretty clearly like the average fan pretty clearly rates Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson as the top 3 quarterbacks, and then Burrow entrenched in the 4 spot, kind of. At least that's the way that I see it.
Yeah,
which I think is perfectly reasonable.
The problem also with that is like top 5. Why are we making like 5 is just a fun cutoff? Realistically, like
it's an arbitrary number.
Why do the
Olympics just do gold, silver, bronze? And then that guy who comes in 4th by like a split second gets nothing. Should be gold only. There's one standard, and it's numero uno.
Yeah,
not first, you're last. Hell, I was high when I said that. Of course, that's stupid. You got 4th. You got 3rd. I don't remember exactly what it is. Hell, you even got 3rd. Oh man, pretty good. Pretty good. All right, I think we are very live on the pregame SGP.
Yeah,
I think I could throw away some dollar, and the props are looking good as of now, right? Tylan Wallace doesn't have a catch. Justice Hill's cash to his over unless he loses like 12 yards on a rush. Ty Johnson doesn't have a reception. It's not really the game state for him. The pregame props are looking very good. I really want them to win because of that jackass Will S, by the way.
That guy was going crazy. He's like I feel like I've seen him a couple times.
I feel like he's been in here.
normal.
What was he so upset about?
I don't know.
He was so
I don't know. And then there was someone
very irrationally upset.
Someone was like, "I'm not betting under." It's like, okay, then don't. Like, you don't have to tell us that. You can
That's
just
fine. You can say that.
it.
I'm okay if you want to announce that. If you don't want to bet the unders, that guy wouldn't want to know. He cashed Justice Hill over.
Yeah.
But Will was in like a really bad mood. I like misspoke one time. He fucking flipped. He lost his mind.
But also, I will say, like, plus EV move, open up YouTube and leave it open. Like, just look at the screen because I select every play you mentioned and it's there. And also, you said Justice Hill overs. You just said afterwards, I'm not playing an over, and you clearly misspoke. Like, obviously, like.
Well, James C says you paid him too much attention. Might have encouraged him some. I will say it's definitely true. I do have. I am very easy to trigger, and I see all the comments in real time. And when I see something like that, I was trying to get away from it. I was just like trying to keep going, and then I'm like, "Fuck, I can't."
It's a
Kirk
massive
Evans,
minus.
Kirk Evans syndrome.
It's a massive minus EV move. You're like, if you see someone arguing with you on Twitter and you're gonna go 24 deep, like, just take a step away, and they will stop messaging you. It's as simple as that. They'll stop replying to you if you stop replying to them. It's very easy.
Brandon says Shakir longest reception from Pizza Buffet was another good one. It was. Got that. This has been a really good game for us so far. All right. Punt parlay. Maybe not, but like we're going both possessions like we usually do. As much as I want to root on the Bills, I don't hate a punt look for the Bills.
Both teams feel like they're flying too much. I hate this price for like plus 487 for 2 punts. It's like,
I know. No, I don't think
gross.
I know, but it's even grosser if we play the touchdown for the Ravens. The Ravens touchdown feels like
Any other?
So another Lamar fumble or pick.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it's not a great bet at 430, but I know these are. I'm going to rip the bet because I want to get excited about something.
Punt any other Mark Andrews from Clive in the chat.
Clive. Punt any other Mark Andrews.
I'm curious why Mark Andrews.
Andrews, does he have a did he catch a ball? He's got one target. Yeah, I could see them getting Andrews involved, honestly. I could really see that. He played way more snaps than likely last week. He's going to be on a lot more. Wow.
This is interesting. This is now very interesting.
I don't know.
You tell me.
I don't know.
Can I quickly get your thought on a TD score prop?
Okay, throw it out there.
I feel like just compared to
Wallace, you're getting kicked off.
No. Dawson Knox 16-1.
Yeah,
him and Kincaid shouldn't be at 900, and like they should be closer together. Knox has outsnapped him so far in the first.
But Knox outsnaps him every single game.
Yeah,
Knox has outsnapped Kincaid for like 6 consecutive weeks. He just doesn't run that many routes is the problem. But I don't hate it.
Yeah,
I don't hate it.
Been on for more passing downs than.
Let's bring it. Let's bring in someone else. Let's at this point we need some fresh blood. I'm really struggling at this point. Chris Dierkis, everyone. Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
It's going okay.
Good. We're good.
It's going okay. We're just trying to find some bets for you. You like anything second half? We want additional action.
I mean, I'm on a Buffalo pregame. I mean, I got a bad price, so I wouldn't recommend betting it now. But I kind of think
pass posting king over here.
Yeah, exactly. I think Baltimore's actually outperformed Buffalo outside of like that tremendous punt from Lamar. So I probably lean towards anything related to pro Baltimore right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey. We're rooting for Buffalo -5.5.
Ooh, oh yeah, that's right.
Buffalo You know what, Alan? This maybe Justice Hill over receiving is not a bad look. I could see that.
Oh yeah, that's actually really especially down might be down 3 scores.
Yeah. What if we take both running backs over receiving yards and parlay them together, Jay?
Like
true professionals do.
Well, yeah, of course. Derrick Henry.
It's only.
No, this feels so low. Like, listen,
we suck.
Where are the alts?
You cannot find good bets today. I mean, everything's winning, but I can't find anything additional in game right now. Wow.
You can go Cook over, and because they'll probably run it more, and then Justice Hill over.
Yeah, we could do that.
Cook rushing.
Over rushing, not receiving. Oh, that's not a great price.
We're gonna find something else in real time. We're gonna find something else. If I have to fire on every friggin' TV catcher live in game as well, I'll do that. I will do that. Player to catch a pass. Carlos is going second half under.
Ooh, do not like that.
I would be.
That's a good. That's never a good feeling.
Mike Durso with the hard-hitting analysis. Lamar looks cold. He does look cold. He does look cold. Oh man,
Rob, I think you're on ahead of me by 5 seconds. So
if it's only 5 seconds, I can slow it down.
Oh no, I mean I just saw the kickoff. I don't know,
Oh, I'm well ahead.
Yeah, don't bother. Just if it's a big play, please don't spoil. I get tilted with.
Do you find it a little bit tilting that Canadians can get a better feed than Americans when it comes to NFL football created in America?
Tough. We got our redemption on Thursday night because it seems like we have the advantage Thursday.
No more Thursday night football, my friend.
Yeah, I know. It is disrespectful that the Canadians have better feeds.
Tough, man. Maybe in Trump's America, those things will change a little bit.
We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow.
We will find out. For all I know, Canadians won't even be able to watch the NFL anymore unless they become the 51st state.
I was telling Kirk Evans, I said, how does it feel to be an American citizen soon? When?
Yeah. That's funny, man. The world we live in is insane nowadays. It is insane. I'm just watching Buffalo second down drop back. Oh, it looks like it's underthrown at Kincaid. So it's going to be 3rd and 9. I noticed this was in the chat earlier today with a $2 donation from Derek. Appreciate the donation, Derek. Rob, quick thoughts on Kirk EV analytics beef. I don't know that this is going to make circle back, because I don't know that there's enough there. And I already have a Kirk. I don't know that's going to make it. So this might be a good forum to talk about it. You know Kirk pretty well.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I mean, people wouldn't say that, I don't think, about Kirk.
I mean, I like him. I like him. We've done business. I'm a little biased. I kind of think they were both wrong in that regard. Kirk had to know when he offered 20 to win 10. No way he was ever accepting. And then, plus if you took that way too personally, I think you could just shrug it off. But I think they're both acting a little immature in that regard. But that's Twitter, and I prove it. I find it very entertaining. So I think they should continue to do that.
I mean, honestly, I pretty much echo every point you made. I thought it was a really petty argument. It's two people who don't like each other, and they're now doing it in a public forum. Yeah, which is it's great content. I mean, some people don't want that. They don't want it in their feed and mute and move on. I like to see that. Jason,
did you guys play the punt?
No, we didn't play the punt.
Fuck.
We never
never play it.
Well, we got the first leg. I know I knew. Well, whatever. You could say I knew it, but I didn't bet it, so I didn't know it.
I have this hopefully isn't past posting. I was looking at all the prop menus because I noticed I wanted something to sweat tonight. Didn't like anything, and then I got lucky. An hour and a half before the game, when my sharp friend was like, I got an order for Cook over 55.5 rush yards. So I was like, okay, I'm in. So that's my only prop.
Cook sweat. Yeah, he's got 36 right now. In play, he's got to be higher than that, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, it's feeling good, but it's not like a lock or anything. It's still very sweat.
Yeah, we do need last night we had great energy on De'Ami Brown. We just bet him like every drive to catch a pass. He just kept catching passes.
Oh yeah.
I need to find that for tonight. I just haven't had it yet. There hasn't been an injury in game. Other than Taylor Rapp. There hasn't really been like an impactful injury that you would want to exploit immediately type of situation.
I'm very curious what Baltimore does this drive. I think they still try to run it.
I think they're going to go back to running the ball here.
Yeah.
They're going to go back to what the initial game plan was. The only problem with the punt parlay, which I mean the first Buffalo part hit, is that I don't see a lot of scenarios where Baltimore's going to punt here unless they get into 3rd and long. I know they're only down 11. A 4th and long, yeah. Because I think anything close they're gonna green light.
Well, what about 4th and 3 on their own 30? You think they're still going for that?
Well, they're at their own 36 to start.
Oh, okay.
But
I
that's
mean,
what
like
I'm saying.
if they punt it, if they started like on the 20 or you know what I mean, like
Then they would punt.
Yeah.
Then it's in play. But I think we kind of lost that option a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. I kind of was thinking today, I saw you on the list for the show tonight. And my thought was, I really hope the Jets fuck up their quarterback hire. Like I really hope it's like a pathetic hire.
Just no Bobby Slowick. No, please, just that would be too painful. Like I don't want Bobby Slowick.
But you know what? I've never talked to Bobby Slowick. I don't know him. You know, he was originally a PFF guy. I don't know Slowick. What I do know is Slowick can't call an offensive game, and like his offensive structure sucks. But maybe as a head coach, he'd be like a little bit more progressive thinker as an offensive guy. I'm trying to find some, like it could be worse, man. I'd rather Bobby Slowick than like Rex Ryan.
Ironically enough, I would have rather Rex Ryan, but
no, you cannot. I watch this guy every single Sunday morning on ESPN. You cannot want Rex Ryan back. Ryan.
Look, I guess my because Ben Johnson doesn't want the Jets.
Yeah,
like I only want really like Brian Flores. I love Brian Flores. I think he's the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. I think he's a genius. And unless we can get like 2 elite coordinators, we have none. I mean, we have like Dumb and Dumber as our coordinators. Like we need to get at least one good coordinator. So Brian Flores gives us one.
Yes. Mark Andrews got a pass. So should this be an incomplete now, that parlay will hit in all likelihood. And that would be really upsetting for me.
What was it? Parlay?
It was any other. It was not punt.
Well, Clive recommended any other.
Oh.
But there was the person before him
said punt.
I mean, we always really try to start with punt.
Yeah. It's the inspiration.
Suck, man. We suck.
Good pregame though.
They need just for my own personal sanity, they need to complete this pass. And they did. To Andrews again. Andrews 2+. Andrews back in the game. All right.
I'm so behind. It's still 3rd and 5 for me.
Are you on YouTube TV?
Yeah.
Do you know the workaround to get yourself a little bit quicker ahead?
No.
There's a workaround. Let me see if I can.
If I can do it quick, I'll do it. But
yeah, I mean, you're not going to get on the same speed as me, but I'm going to post in the private chat right now. If you see that, there's like a little bit of a workaround right now.
Okay.
There's some default setting that about buffering or something like that you can take off. Yeah, I know the workaround. I know the reach around quality move. Stop short, also a great move, by the way.
Okay.
Stop short. I don't know if you're familiar with the stop short, but
I'm not familiar with stop short. What is that in reference to?
You be in the, you got a attractive female in the passenger seat, and you slam on the brakes really quickly, and you put the arm out to,
Jesus.
make sure, they don't move anywhere. They don't go anywhere.
Wow, you're recommending some questionable things in this show. I mean, first the meme coins.
I'm just saying, you can't.
It's
There's safety. Safety's in play.
yes.
Someone's Derrick Henry is on the sidelines, and Justice Hill has gotten a few snaps in a row here. I don't know if there's an injury. There's a toss to Hill. He's going to lose.
Just saw Derrick Henry back. Am I crazy?
Man,
oh no! Oh, okay. I'm just yeah.
You see this? Melania's pumping, man.
Oh God.
What are we doing here? Why are we even watching football?
Just invest in scams.
Could have just dropped $100K into Melania today. I mean, that's it. Done. Then I could have put it in my Twitter profile, like all these handicappers who post the picket screens every year. Won $214,000 betting last year.
I was putting in my bio up 594,000 for my Survivor win, but then I just took it off because I felt too ridiculous. I mean, that's just like
no, you got to do that, man. There's no reason for you not to have that in your bio. You got to put it in, man. If not, I'm going to put it in my bio. I'm just going to pretend I did it under your name. So it's got to happen. It's got to happen. What's the handicap for this? Ray Davis rushing over. Well, I need to know the handicap.
Yeah, this is. I'm assuming he's thinking that like if they have a big lead, like
that's got to be a delay. Sorry. I'm just talking. Yeah. They let this play go on and Lamar gets sacked. It's very clearly 0 for a while. Yeah, there's a delay. They're calling it. Okay. Now we're asking the hard-hitting questions. Is Darnold the white Lamar?
That's a great question.
Oh man, it's good. God, I love betting. God, I really like life. To be honest, Chris, I'm a big fan of life.
So, would you put Jaden Daniels over Herbert? No.
So, like, if you asked me right now to pick one of them, I would probably pick Herbert, just because I think he's a safer pick. Like, he's established himself in that tier for a longer period of time. I think Jaden Daniels can easily be better than Herbert.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
But that's what I would go with.
I'll do some reverse pass posting. I had a huge round robin on some futures, and Jaden Daniels completely screwed me at under 17.5 or 18.5 rather passing touchdowns for Jaden Daniels. So I did not think Jaden Daniels would be this good. I'm proud. I shouldn't say proud, but I'm fine admitting that. I changed my opinion quick, but
I didn't think so either. But I got to do some better work in the offseason on the young quarterbacks. My take on Jaden Daniels was completely rooted in other people's takes on Jaden.
Yes, that was kind of
all I kept hearing was like, this guy, he holds the ball too long. He takes way too many sacks. And he did take a lot of sacks in college, but they run a very unique offense there that really works in his favor. I mean, I screwed that up as well. I screwed that up. We wouldn't have won, by the way, because it's a field goal attempt.
Wait, that's not other?
And
no,
there's a field. Other would be a turnover.
Oh! I was thinking just wasn't punt. Okay.
No. Field goal attempt is one of them.
Gotcha.
So we're good. Tucker is fixed, by the way. Yep.
He makes 47-yard field goal and he's fixed.
Man. 100%. Yeah.
You're gonna bet KC if Buffalo wins?
It depends on the line, but in all likelihood, yes.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna bet Buffalo. I'll probably be I'll probably just try to probably get something on Novig, just get a reasonable price. I just don't want to see the Chiefs win.
I know. I think that's going to be the entire mentality from everyone this week. Don't you?
Yeah.
I feel like every single person is going to bet Buffalo. It's like a spite bet.
The Chiefs epitomized, or Mahomes, his first Super Bowl, everyone wanted him to win because they didn't want to see Brady keep winning. And now he's come full circle. He lived long enough to see himself become the villain.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm just waiting for, assuming Buffalo holds on to win this game, which is not a foregone conclusion yet, but
yeah.
I'm waiting for the talk tomorrow about how the league favored Kansas City with the scheduling. I know that's going to be a thing, right? Like it wasn't very obvious as to which time slot each game was going to go in before the week. Houston's going to get buried per usual. Buffalo, Baltimore is the marquee match, but I'm waiting for that tomorrow. That'll be a topic of conversation.
Were you shocked? But I didn't seem like there was a lot of Dan Campbell hate. I was expecting a ton of Dan Campbell hate, but I didn't. Maybe I'm not seeing it, but I was.
I didn't see Dan Campbell hate either.
Yeah,
I didn't see much of it.
That was good because I think I like him a lot as a coach. I was expecting to see the hate because I know people don't like that he goes for it all the time and does all this stuff.
I'll reserve my judgment on Dan Campbell to how the Lions fare without Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And maybe without Aaron Glenn as well.
I think he's going to the Jets, unfortunately. I just think we have no proof that Aaron Glenn is a good defensive coordinator. I'm not saying he's bad, but we have no proof that he's good. Whereas, if you want to get a defensive coordinator guy, just get Brian Flores. He's proven to be good.
The only issue is whether or not Flores can be a good coach or not.
You hope he learned from the last experience, but yeah.
That seems to be like the modern day trend now. Guys are going back for Dan Quinn was one of those where Raheem Morris, although Raheem Morris I would say was still still not good.
Why didn't they get Belichick? He was perfect for that team. Kirk was old. The team it had a 3-4 year window. If assuming Kirk wasn't as bad as he was, and then if Kirk ends up being bad, you can just cut him, get rid of Belichick after 2 years, 3 years, and then move on. It didn't make any sense to me.
I have a take on that.
Okay, I'm curious.
This is not going to be a popular opinion.
Okay.
I would not have considered Belichick for a job in the NFL. Greatest coach of all time, I will give him. I think the league has passed him by. I think some of these guys, the league has just and I think he's still very intelligent, but it's a very old school mentality. I don't know how much they've adapted to the modern game. I don't know. I mean, listen, that's just my opinion from the outside looking in. But I don't think I have an obsession with hiring offensive guys. Let me just put it that way.
Well, that's not a bad strategy. It's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah. I have an obsession with hiring guys that are going to be a little bit more aggressive in the modern day NFL. Whereas I think a lot of these defensive guys, a lot of them are not panning out. There's a much higher bust rate on defensive guy as head coach, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. I just still think Belichick is too elite defensively to not get another consideration. I'm now waiting for if Penny Beater is watching this for him to start ranting on Twitter about how Belichick is still the GOAT.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Big third down here. Big third down, Bills. And that's a first. Curtis Samuel, I think.
Like to hear that?
Curtis Samuel. Buck's going to let Canales and Cohen walk back-to-back seasons. I'm not convinced Canales is good. I don't know that. I mean, they run when every single time the Panthers run a goal line fade. I want to, especially because I know one of my good friends works in the organization.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the analytics department, I'm like, this guy must be throwing shit around his office every time he sees that happen.
Okay, I don't mean to like needle with this, but were you not on Panthers +4 week 1? Or
Yes.
I forget if you have.
Yep, I was.
Wasn't that a Canales play, or is that something else?
No, it definitely was, because I like offensive guys. So I tend
you've just updated your opinion after seeing him for
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think there's still a very wide range on what Canales can be. He has fixed Bryce Young. I mean, he's kind of.
Did he fix him? Okay, did he fix him, or did like Bryce Young randomly get confidence? Because he was awful week 1 and 2. I mean, horrendously bad, and then just randomly got average in the last couple of weeks.
The worst take I have on record. This is the one that's going to come back to haunt me. It's like my Mona Lisa. It's very similar to Joe A's. Jaden Daniels. Yeah, Will, whatever. Message me in 8 months type of thing. Yeah. I was the one that he had the first good game he had this year. I can't remember what it was. I said that I would trade him immediately after that game. I'm like, this is the highest. Yeah. He had one good game this year after a bunch of terrible ones. And I'm like, this is the highest his stock is ever going to, like, he stinks. And I'm going to be wrong about that, I think.
I actually echoed that opinion. I remember I asked Judah a while back. I was like, what are the odds that like Bryce Young and a couple other guys become a top 10 quarterback? And I had 0% for Bryce Young. I didn't even give him one, and it's clearly not 0 anymore.
I mean, people were asking me like, who would you rather take, Bryce? And they were putting terrible quarterbacks in there. Yeah. And I'm like, Bryce Young's upside, like his ceiling is career backup, basically. Yeah. I was very.
That's a big stop.
I'm an idiot. That was a big tackle on Dawson Knox there for sure. And it is a big stop. Very live. Second half under looking good for whoever.
Well, yeah, that is good. I was definitely wrong on that.
Well, it's lots of time left. Lots of time. Buffalo's bleeding clock.
As you should.
Yep. Oh, that was a very good fake by the punt returner there. Bills really bid on that for a touchback. Yeah. If NFL Pinnacle Beater's watching and he heard that from I don't want to have to deal with him tonight. He'll just do like a long text chain, or Twitter chain. Like, it's gonna be tough.
That's my favorite. I love watching him when he's like a couple beers in and just going berserk on something.
Yeah.
And now that I can talk to you face to face, I need to harp on you and Kirk Evans. You guys keep up this facade. You haven't changed for Circle Back. That I'm calling you out. Complete BS. I've definitely noticed a change in pattern of your tweets.
No. I'm not buying this. Okay.
Because you're going into the bait. I mean, come on.
No. Okay, here. I will explain myself.
Okay.
In 2025, it was a goal of mine to generate some more engaging Twitter content.
Yes.
More videos of just like mockery, satire, stuff like that. That was very much a goal of mine. It is absolutely not a goal of mine to just stir the pot to get content for Circle Back, because there's way more than enough content for Circle. Like, it's honestly, I did the rundown before this show went live, and I have to cut out so many things every single week. And I also have to play like it's got to be balanced too, right? Like, I don't want to talk about the same people every single week either. That's going to get tired. Like, there's some stuff this week where I just cut it out that, some people might be expecting it to be in the show, but it's just like played out maybe, I guess, at this point. So, yeah.
All right. I will accept that is a reasonable answer. Kirk, I do not like that is that.
He's not doing that either. He's not. That's him.
No way. No.
Do you remember when Kirk came on the scene? Do you remember that?
Okay, he did. Okay, fair enough. He did like get into some like.
He got into it with everyone. Diggs, Shipper, like all the sharp Twitter guys thought Kirk Evans was a complete moron when he joined.
Yeah, he proved them wrong.
So he did. He's doing. He's a very successful bettor and very sharp. And once that happened, I lived the same existence. I got dumped on by these people forever, and then you prove that you can actually win, and they change their opinions of you over time. That's the way it should be. But I don't think he's doing that to drum up content for the show. I really don't. He just can't help himself. He literally can't help himself.
That's true. I mean, I will admit I've made some tweets and trying to disrupt drama because I think the show is phenomenal. I think it's hysterical. I would love listening to. I'm working and I love listening to it on Tuesday morning. It's a nice. It's I don't like like you said, we've talked about in private. I don't learn anything from the show. It's like if you watch the Kardashians, you watch it for entertainment. That's what it's for. And I try to egg it on because I love the content.
Yep. It's
no,
like
Doug Ray Jones, NFL pin beater, has not been on Circles Off. I've tried to get him on. I know Rob's
I've also tried to get him on. Yeah, I honestly don't think it's going to happen. Although I got a big name this week for Circle. This is going to be the first interview of 2025. I got a big name this week.
I'm excited. I've tried to get it out of you, but you wouldn't.
No, I don't want. I don't want to. I hope they don't tell anyone either about it, because I'd like it to be a surprise.
Can you say this at least? On the sharp scale, is he closer to a GRP or a Brett Favre 444?
Closer to a Brett Favre 444.
That is good. That is what I like to hear.
Yeah, it's a sharp better.
Okay,
sharp.
Good.
That's all I'm going to say. Derrick Henry almost just housed one. Almost.
Oh,
got
really?
Got to the safeties. Yeah.
Is Derrick Henry the scariest running back after 5 yards, like down like?
I over the years, I've seen so much content produced about people talking about them being able to tackle Derrick Henry in an open field, and I just laugh every single time I see stuff. He imagine that guy running full speed at you.
Yeah.
Insane. Those are some insane takes for sure. Oh man. It depends.
They've officially reached anything under 4th and 5. They have to be going for it. You cannot.
Yeah, and Baltimore does that as well. Defensive holding penalty as well. Drunken Goon says Saquon in the open field is scarier. I guess it depends of like
close. How
you define scary. I define scary as I might die if I try to tackle.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Saquon is probably scarier. His cuts might be better, and he might be more liable to break one. But I mean, I can't imagine some safeties would rather tackle Derrick Henry over Saquon in the open field.
Yeah. Another big run here. The running game is starting to work. Justice Hill, that was a big one. He's over 50 yards, man. Justice Hill alts, man. Picked the wrong week not to play Justice Hill alts. We played him last week. At least we got the 20 plus last week, but what are you going to do? That's another thing too. Like in this, I grew up playing tackle football with friends, and we had the day after Christmas every year, Boxing Day in Canada, we would have a tackle football game. Some days you would get really cold. You just don't want to fucking tackle people. Like you're always sending like someone out. Yeah. Anyways,
I remember that the Oklahoma drill remind me of when I was in freshman in high school. I was the minimum weight to make like the I forget whatever team it was, like the lower, like the C team or whatever, was 125, and I weighed 125.
Mm-hmm.
And our running back was 160 and had 4 inches on me. And like there was like a brief moment where like they're going to pair me and him up to the Oklahoma drill. I'm like, what? This is not safe. And like fortunately they bailed last minute. But that's got to be what people are thinking about Derrick Henry. Like, God,
oh yeah, yeah. They're just trampling Buffalo in the run game.
This is brutal.
Yeah.
Josh Allen needs a nice long drive now. Gotta.
Henry's in. Can't stop the run.
Yeah.
Real problem. Real problem right now. I mean, if Baltimore does win, might be getting KC dog next week.
Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't think Baltimore was going to have a good year.
I did not. I mean, that was my biggest. That was my biggest future bet. Like regular win totals, and it was my most public one, and I was completely wrong.
2 points, no good. It was wide open, but great play made by the linebacker there. So 21-19. Yeah, I didn't. I'm trying to think of like what I do like to revisit this stuff in the offseason. I definitely was wrong about Baltimore. I was definitely wrong about Derrick Henry in that regards as well.
Oh, yeah. I got so lucky. I was going to add Derrick Henry under, I think it was 1,000 yards rushing into my futures round robin, and then by the time I got my accounts in order to bet it, it moved down to like 950, and I was like, all right, I'll pass at 950. But boy, didn't he finish that by like week 8 or something?
It was absurd. Yeah. I don't know, man. Some of these guys, like Joe Mixon, looked so fucking cooked at the end of his time in Cincinnati.
Oh, that was another one. Wow.
He was brutal. He had zero burst, like nothing.
All right. I know you don't like the fantasy questions, but I think this is not really a true fantasy question.
Okay.
Do you think Derrick Henry makes it in the first round in fantasy next year? Just talking about from his age perspective. Like do you think he's going to be good?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as
he will be drafted in the first round in best ball.
Okay.
Even in like full PPR best ball, he'll probably be first round.
Okay. I would tend to agree. I just didn't know if he's still at the age curve.
I don't know if Jason thought that you were asking him that question.
Well,
but evidently,
Rob, how many fantasy leagues are you in?
Well, I mean, I could have answered the question.
How many? Okay. All right. Okay.
I agree with Jason. He's going to be drafted in the first round next year.
I don't know if you consider that a fantasy. I was more asking about like the age, like when does he fall off? Like age. I mean, I thought it was this year. So do I just push my opinion one more year down the line? But
I don't know, man. What is his actual age? It feels like he's been in the league forever.
Isn't he 30? No, he's 31. Oh, he just turned 31 like 2 weeks ago. That's right. Yeah.
He might still have. He still has burst, man.
How good was? When was Adrian Peterson's last good year? Let me look.
I'm horrible with time. I just remember Peterson fell off the cliff so quickly. He really did.
His 2018 Washington year, do we consider that good? We had 1,000 yards.
No. I mean, 1,000 yards now, people are fucking blowing each other over 1,000 yards, but it's not a real milestone in my opinion. The modern day NFL. I mean, when you think about it, 17 games.
Well, that was 16.
That was 16. Okay, so instead of 58 yards a game, he was getting 63.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so his 2015 was his last good season then, and he was 30 there. So yeah.
I will say the one thing that is going for Derrick Henry, knock on wood, obviously don't want this to happen, but like he's had a surprisingly healthy career for a running back. No real major injury. Like the worst injury he had was like a hamstring strain in 2019, and he like fractured his fibula in college, but like fractures aren't as detrimental, obviously, as soft tissue. So like that he's got that going for him.
It's just so weird. Like I never thought a Derrick Henry type of runner. Like I just thought like Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan, CMC, those types of runners would just have continued to like dominate the NFL. But I mean, Saquon and Derrick Henry, I mean, they've been balling out. I guess maybe Saquon is closer to the CMC type. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
More of a dynamic player. That's not to say like Henry's more of a bruiser.
Yeah.
Which a lot of those running backs have really not. Like, think about how fucking hard Tennessee and Vrabel ran Derrick Henry in second halves of those games.
It was like
that was like auto under. Tennessee has the lead at the half. I don't even care what. There's not going to be a number where I'm not going to click under because the Titans are going to run the ball 90% of the time here.
All right, that was a good James Cook rush right there. Okay, I needed that. What is he at right now?
James Cook's at 47.
Okay, just 9 more yards and no more of this backwards nonsense.
It's backwards, but not James Cook. I think that was Ty Johnson.
Okay, that's okay. Isn't GT Austin? I'm very bad with college football, but isn't he closer to a Derrick Henry type?
Who? Ty Johnson?
No. Ashton GT. Someone just asked in the chat.
Yeah, I would. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Explosive player though. That's the difference. When you're big and you can Henry can move for a big. He's not Brandon Jacobs, He can move. Bills, man.
You really didn't have a side in this game? I'm surprised you not even like a small no vig sweat with anyone or any like a friend or something.
I didn't. I strongly considered betting the Bills at post, but these don't work out well for me. I know my lane, right? Yeah. I know where my edge comes in an NFL, and it's definitely not betting into major market at post.
Oh, I was well aware that I was losing when I bet Buffalo at post. I didn't mind the -2% for a nice sweat on the game. I mean, it was whatever.
Yeah, see, I'm weird like that. Because I know what I bet on sides and totals, which by the way is not like I'm not betting some crazy amount, but it's a substantial amount for me. Yeah. I know what I bet on that. I can't throw a nickel or a dime on a side and total and get excited. I would rather have 10 props going and a bunch of other things I can root for. So that's kind of where I'm at. But that's it. Follow him on Twitter at FlupNoLide, LIDE. Chris Dierkes, winner of the Circa Survivor. He's going to post that. He's going to put it in his Twitter profile.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can all see. Winner of the Circa Survivor this year. Lover of Kirk Evans. What else did I miss?
No, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, diehard Jets fan.
Unfortunately, it's true.
Unfortunately. Chris, have a good night, man.
All right, thanks. You too.
Chris Dierkes, everyone. By the way, if you want to know more about Chris, I did interview him on Circles Off, probably say about half a year ago, maybe a year ago as well. You can go over to the Circles Off YouTube channel. You can check that out. If you want to listen to it in audio form, it was a pretty good interview. Talks a lot more about what he does, but he's pretty good sports bettor. I will say that. All right. Fourth quarter coming up. I like spending these fourth quarters with our next guest. We're down about 78 units betting the stuff that he's given out in fourth quarters this year, but I feel like this might be the time to reverse the trend. What do you say, Hitman?
I like Lamar under 221.5. 5.
Okay. Quarterback, passing yards. Lamar, 221.5, 222.5. Market moving against you, but I'm in.
I feel like, did you play his over before the?
No, I didn't. I played.
I feel like both. I don't know what the run rate over expectation numbers are right now and everything, but I feel like Baltimore has been kind of what I thought coming into the game. Right, running. They haven't had much volume running the ball. It's just that he's gotten the 2 deep balls, but
25 running plays, 16 pass.
And also not that I'd rather them have gotten the 2-point conversion, but the fact that overtime has become significantly less likely now plays a small factor that helps it a little bit.
You know what? I like the look. I do. I noticed that you're wearing the turtleneck underneath your sweater today.
Oh, I can't come back with it. Can't come back with it. Listen, I'm just going to say, hopefully tonight we get no shenanigans. We get no freezing the freaking the stream, pretending to freeze.
No, it's a good game. We do that.
No questions about mono or whatever the guy's name is.
Well, no, mono was what you had a year ago, no?
I've never had mono.
No. You just got some. It was the skin. Yeah, it was a skin rash. The skin rash. Hot tub skin rash. Forgot about that.
Yes.
All right. I'm just going to do this one time because I didn't do it for the entirety of the stream tonight. If you could smash that like button down below, that'd be appreciated. YouTube rewards liked content, serves it out to other people. So take 2 seconds. Let's see if we could get it up to 200 likes on the video. That'd be really nice if we could do that. Smash that like button down below.
What do you
Caustic
got on
says
the
fake
clock?
freeze was peak content, by the way, which I tend to agree with.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I'm looking at my Twitter timeline while doing this, so I can't see that you're frozen, Rob.
It's
I
true.
gotta stay up to date with all this stuff. What if somebody's injured? I gotta get a live bet in.
Yeah. If someone's injured, we'll get a live bet in. Okay. Let's sync up, me and you. How far am I ahead of you?
Cook just got tackled.
Okay. So I'm quite a bit ways ahead. I will come back down to American time because Canadians do get the better stream. I'll come back down to American time. So I'm going to pause at, oh my God, put the friggin' play clock up on the screen. I'm seeing Josh Allen's last 10 pass attempts on the side of the screen.
Taking shots at sports podcasts must know about my Nacua loss today. I was not a happy camper with that.
I don't know what he's referring to. I didn't bet any Nacua stuff.
I bet it.
Yep. Okay, I'm paused at 30 play clock.
Yeah, gotcha. 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, 30.
Okay. We should be pretty in sabbatical right now. Seems
Yeah,
like people
Puka
don't wanna-
Nacua, he had 30 yards with 5 minutes left, and the Eagles had the ball. And in a game where nobody could throw the ball, and somehow went over. But
it was that deep pass down the sideline. He made an amazing catch.
I lost so much on that sequence. I had some Cooper Cup unders. I had some Stafford under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Pretty juicy too.
Yeah.
And I just lost literally everything on that drive, on those two drives.
I think so. The most frustrating part, like Darius Slay was in good position. He just mistimed his jump on that Nacua catch down the
I mean,
side.
the most frustrating part too is Jalen Carter on, was it second or third down? I mean, Stafford had a touchdown to Tyler Higbee. Like, it was a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah.
And Jalen Carter literally saved the season for them. I mean, it's
Oh, that's got to be PI. No?
I guess the makeup call for calling that PI on Tre'Davious White earlier.
Ooh. They're in no man's land right now. Yeah, that was nuts. I mean,
That's
that's clearly PI.
Yeah, he turned them. Yeah.
That is called every time in the NFL. That is called every time. I'm surprised they're kicking.
What are they? Was it 55 yards?
It's 51. Bass is.
This would be really good for our Lamar under if he missed
hits
this.
it. Oh, if he missed it, yes, correct.
Give him a short field and.
Oh, I think
Drained
that's
it.
good. Yeah,
All right.
it is. We'll see if that comes back because they were in no man's land there. They're 4th and 8 on the 33 is just a tough call all around.
Did you ever address? It came on my timeline because I'm tagged in this nonsense. George Riley Panagakis is telling you to call out Doug Kazarian.
No, really? Because he said good things about Chernoff.
He said because he complimented Adam Chernoff with a tweet.
Let me see. Rob, ask Doug why 3 weeks ago he took the time to compliment Adam Chernoff with a tweet just because he got one pick correct. Wow. The rivalry that I didn't know I needed in life, GRP and Chernoff. What are the biggest rivalries right now going on gambling Twitter?
I mean, it's a one-way rivalry. Like, obviously, Chernoff should be. I mean, if you were Chernoff, you would ignore him, right?
Yeah, I know, but Chernoff has now referenced him a couple times, like very subtly. You could tell he has brought it up subtly on Simple Handicap, on the RAS streams, because other people ask now in the comments, and he'll bring it up every now and then and basically says, the same thing that, he's not really being tracked correctly, which is true. We have me and Simon, sure. Simon doesn't say anything about me though, so
I mean, it's a Friday show after the service that he's working for moves the market, and he just has to give out the leftovers that didn't make it to the service releases. You can't give the service releases because the market likely moved on them.
Yep.
And if they did get bought back, then they're probably lemons to begin with.
It's true. Yeah, Kirkin plus EV was a big one today. I don't know how permanent that rivalry's been.
That guy plus EV sounds like such a nice dude. I get the stuff he says triggers a lot of people, but I mean, I've never met him. He seems like a really nice guy.
I'm probably going to join the same golf course as him and play with him like as much as he is a nice guy, but I understand it. I do understand the feuds. He says a lot of things that if I maybe didn't know him and had no, concept of who he was as a person, I might get really triggered by as well. Right?
Yeah.
Kanish does too. If I didn't know Kanish, I might be I think that's how we first. I think 5 years ago I was tweeting at Kanish like he was a complete idiot. I mean, he is an idiot, but he's like a more respected idiot than I believed at that time. Yeah, Simon took one shot at me and then he deleted it afterwards. It was the shot where he called me a PDF file. I don't want to say the name because, but yeah, he did, which is, don't know that that's where I would have went if someone was calling me out for making a bad point.
So if I'm Baltimore, I mean, I'm saying committed to the run. No time to panic here.
Agreed.
It's a lot of it's 4 down territory as long as it's reasonable.
Yeah. And then you mix in an occasional play action shot every now and then as Buffalo starts to play safeties closer and closer to the line. Kind of like the first drive of the game.
Did you give out Patrick Ricard on this stream?
I did, yeah. We talked a little bit about it on Pizza Buffet this week, but everyone here is riding Ricard. Who's that?
Did you mention
Sims?
Did you mention in the handicap that I bet it also, and that in 10 years of betting, I've never won an anytime touchdown score?
I don't believe that, for one. Two, I didn't.
I don't do that many of them. Maybe on this year, I definitely didn't win one. I probably bet I don't know, maybe a little over 10 of them.
Yeah.
10 to 15 of them. And I'm pretty sure I went over.
Oh,
the worst one was
Henry's under center. Or direct snap to him.
Yeah.
Oof.
The worst one of the year was the Ricard tackled at the 1. I had to win I probably had to win 50,000 if he would have scored, got tackled at the 1. And then I had a fortune on Ray Davis, the game where James Cook got ruled out against the Jets, and he got tackled at the 1 twice.
And then Josh Allen, I assume, stole your touchdown.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It's a big play, 3rd and 1 here. Buffalo has to sell out to stop the run. Baltimore is going to run. Oh,
here they got it. I think they got it. And if they didn't get it, then Mark Andrews sneak time.
This is where Mark Andrews gets the 1.5. Everyone bet him over. Yeah.
So one of my partners texted me 10 minutes before kickoff, and he was like, Andrews just went to 1.5.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we got to bet the under on that, because if he gets to carry, I mean, the difference between 0.5 and 1.5 is huge.
100%. Yep.
And I fucking forgot to bet it. I got caught up in some other shit, and here we go. And he got 2. So
yeah,
good miss.
So 2 carries, 3 yards. All the Mark Andrews numbers.
Oh, did he have a carry before?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, he did. I didn't even know. Would he have 1 for 1?
He had 1 for 1. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Yep. I just laugh now thinking about all the people that hated. It was a year ago, hated teams going for these 4th and 1s, and how it's so stupid. Now it's.
I mean, I'll argue that the Rams lost today because they don't have a tush push play.
Yeah.
Did they not get into 3rd and 1 and 4th, or what? I forgot if it was 4th and 1, 3rd and whatever, but they got killed on those short yardage plays. I just don't know how every team has not worked on that in the offseason. Like, if you don't want your quarterback running it, do what fucking Baltimore does with Mark Andrews. Like, just find someone to run that.
Yep. I agree with you. 2nd and 11 here.
It's gonna be a Lamar throw. So big play for us.
It is.
Oh boy.
Oh yes. Sorry, not good for your bet, but makes
for sure.
Of course, you want to know how fucking unlucky I am with some SGP stuff sometimes. I sold points in this game. You know what I sold to? I sold to Buffalo -5.5. What made me pick 5.5 was that 5 is so often dead. Naturally, we're on 5 right now. I didn't even think about it until now. Wow.
Did you have Buffalo teasers too?
I have Buffalo teasers with Chiefs. Yeah.
Same. I didn't tease Detroit.
Neither did I. Washington was my biggest edge this week.
Did you end up, did you bet anything this week?
Yeah.
With sides and totals?
Nothing. So I did, but like nothing remotely close to a usual bet size. I had Commanders money line, but it was a small bet, good price. Other than that, no, nothing.
Yeah. Washington, I believe on Tuesday ticked to 10 for like it wasn't long.
Yeah.
But it was, I think it's Circa and Pinnacle.
Yeah.
And I got a piece of that. But
yeah.
That was really it. And the teasers. I didn't release no DraftKings only teasers though, but
well, like they say, like uncle, like nephew, but not in your case. Not in your case. Steven says, Robert Hitman, thoughts on the champ? I think this is the wrong question. I mean, unless Hitman's got something for the college football championship. I don't. I haven't. I mean, I've watched these teams play like 5 times this year, maybe.
Shop around at closer to post. If you have enough outs, there'll probably be some good unders.
There you go.
Then just compare it to whatever you think the best market making book is on college football props. I'm honestly not sure. I would assume FanDuel is pretty sharp.
Yeah.
With them, just generally they're good with props. So
yep.
That's the best advice I could give.
I mean, Durso says, does Hitman know? See it? It looked like it caught him off guard when that question.
No, I know it. I know it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's do something for it. Durso, let's do something for it. Let's go to your country club. See if they'll host us. We'll play golf in the snow and then watch the game.
How long's Durso been a member there? Do you know?
I think just like a year or something.
Because when I played with him like 4 years ago, we were both pretty shit.
Yeah, it snowed here today. So
oof. Tough break.
No good.
No good. I got to go into the city tomorrow. Make some recordings.
That fumble was not good for the Lamar stuff. Now they're going to end up getting in a script.
Buffalo needs to pass the ball. They need to score a touchdown. Play aggressive.
I agree.
There we go. Who's that? Mac?
All right, good. That's his first catch, right?
No, I think Holland's already caught one, didn't he?
Jeez, how am I missing all this?
No. Sorry. I remember he was targeted. He didn't catch it previously.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 for 12. You got unders on Mac Hollins?
Yeah.
Is it because he showed up to the game in bare feet and a Hawaiian shirt on and you don't like the look?
No, I played it like 5 days ago. So
I mean, I was very clearly not asking you a real question.
I know.
You answered it like it was a real question.
Yeah, has there been no Jason today? Is he not? Usually I would have heard him by now.
What do you want from me?
He stayed off stream after Chris Dierkis asked me a question, and then he jumped on and gave his answer.
Yeah, well, you're anti-fantasy guy. I like fantasy. Why would I not jump in?
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying he asked me the question. You know,
I don't think you directed it towards you. It was like a general question.
No, he explicitly stated my name.
No.
explicitly.
I'm gonna have to check the
Anyways,
tape on that.
you can check the tape. I can tell you what happened. Brian in the chat says Lamar rushing over live. Question.
What
mark.
is it?
Rushing yards. Lamar is
Let me guess, like
35 and a half, and he's at 31 right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
36 and a half, just moved in real time.
Both these quarterbacks are going to go under their rush yards.
That was dangerous to Keon Coleman. That was dangerous. You're really going to be sweating that Lamar Jackson passing yardage, huh? Might lose even more hair sweating that in the fourth quarter here.
Baltimore's receivers suck, dude.
They do. If Tylan Wallace catches 2 passes on the last drive of the game, I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be quite upset. No, I need Johnson not. What did he get there? 8.
7, 8.
8. We have Johnson under 12 and a half.
Did that just lose?
No, it didn't. I think that was his first catch of the game as well. There's only 2 Bills that have multiple catches. Shakir and Cook are the only guys. Man, this was a good week of football. This was a good week. Entertaining games.
That poor woman, she can't even watch.
Oh.
Who's hurt?
Marlon Humphrey. My Twitter bot just yeah. Oof. It might not matter. Did you do anything early with Washington Philly?
No.
Philly lost Quinion Mitchell today. Doesn't sound like that's super serious, but he left. Isaiah Rodgers got hurt. Jalen Hurts, who knows what's up with that?
Yeah,
but they didn't even push with him. Yep.
They said Mitchell's pretty optimistic that he'll be back.
But do you not find that weird? Because he left the game in the first quarter and didn't come back. Like it's very obviously.
I read I forgot which Twitter doc, but they were like, again, I mean, these people aren't examining them, but
no, there's only one. There's only one Twitter doc that I trust. So
they were like, with this type of injury, if you give him a cortisone shot, then which I assume you can't administer that in the middle of the game in the locker room. And it takes time anyway. I got a cortisone shot. I should know.
Yeah,
it takes a few days.
Yeah,
and that fucking cortisone shot, it's like, oh my God, it's the best thing I ever did.
Well,
best thing I ever did.
It's not a lot.
You got it. Have you ever gotten one for any of your ailments?
No, but for you, best thing you ever did. There's not a lot to choose from, really. It's like what three memories of good things. It's not saying much. I think Clive gets one. He says, my favorite week every year. You know what? I think I'm going to get into the cortisone shot business. Might as well.
Just get a good, they're supposed to hurt like absolute shit, but my doctor did it to me and it felt pretty good. But a lot of people told me, they're like, you'll start crying. It depends what part of your body.
Did you get it in the ass? Buttocks?
My father-in-law got it in the foot, and he said he was crying.
Well,
my father-in-law, by the way, is the hottest bettor in the entire world right now. $100 to $150 betting NFL at post. This guy cannot lose.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what he's teasing. He teased the Chiefs down to 3 yesterday with the total over.
Beautiful, man. I mean, as long as he's not sending you the bets and you're being like, yeah, don't worry, I'll get it in for you and booking the action, Not saying that you would ever do that.
No.
Max says Rob wouldn't take Hitman's rec, but if Clive is in, he will do it. Exactly. You nailed it, Max. 100%. There's like a ladder, right? Like some people give you like if Kanish gives me a recommendation, I'm not going to listen to him, right? It's just not going to happen. Be like, no, you know what you're missing. Like it's changed my life. I'm like, yeah, it's
probably, if you were to take a recommendation on probably only two things that if I was you, I'd take my recommendation on, it would be a prop bet and food takes, restaurant takes. I feel like
do I know that you have good restaurant takes though?
I feel like I do. You know what? If you ever man up and come to Jersey and not go to New York and just not completely ignore me, then I'll show you a few spots.
I think I'm going to step foot in the state that Simon Hunter's in. Got another fucking thing coming, buddy. Another thing coming.
You afraid of them? You afraid that you'll get your Twitter fingers will get called out in person?
I kind of wouldn't mind getting punched in the face by Simon. I think that would make a good story. It would blow up. John says Jersey stinks, Rob. I'm well aware. First bet bash was in Jersey. There was approximately like 3 things to do, and none of them.
Because it's Jersey. Jersey City sucks. You gotta come to South Jersey.
Okay. I'm not going to do that. There's other places I desire to see.
Atlantic City. You've never been to Atlantic City? Well, Atlantic City sucks too.
When I was younger. Yeah, when I was younger, but I don't hear good things.
Yeah, Atlantic City it's not the safest area.
No. Well, Olivia Reiner is the Eagles beat reporter. She tweeted a couple hours ago, spoke to Quinion Mitchell in the locker room. He's in good spirits. He said he's fine after a shoulder injury. When I asked him if he had any long-term concern, he said, no, I'm going to be good. So that's what's out there right now.
Getting back to some of the comments, best Philly restaurant recommendation. I don't know, but all I'm going to say about Philly restaurants is that the 2 famous steakhouses or cheesesteak places that are right next to each other are overrated as hell.
Yeah, it's like the tourist traps, right? But it's Geno's and Pat's, correct?
Yeah.
Which one's better?
To be honest, man, I don't even remember which one's which. But I had a rock in my cheese. I was there for a Vikings game and I was wearing a Vikings jersey and there was a rock in a small pebble in my cheesesteak. So
a pebble.
So bit it, I don't know if it was intentional. Their fans don't.
You're wearing a Vikings jersey and probably intentionally.
Yeah.
I find I'm often disappointed when people tell me I have to do something in a certain city. So in Philly, it was the same thing. You got to try. I'm like, okay, I tried Pat's and it was fine. I'll be honest. But people are like, when I was in Boston, like, oh, you got to go to Little Italy. You got to try these cannolis at this place. I went to the place. There's a lineup for 20 minutes. I tried the cannolis. I'm like, the cannolis are better at the bakery around the corner from my house. Like, I'm not every time somebody tells me to, Mamba Brinks told me when I was in New York, you got to go to this bagel shop. You got to get these bagels. You know who was at that bagel shop? Adam Schefter was there. I got the bagels. I ate them. I'm like, yes, it's a bagel.
You got it. Clive and Mike Durso, if you're still in the chat, Chef Vola's Atlantic City. Tell Rob that he has to go there and post in the chat if I'm legit with that recommendation.
Oh, Alan got stuffed.
Now you have to go for this.
I would.
Oh, Clive never been. Clive, we're going there. Durso says 100 out of 100. Clive, hit me up in the off season. We will golf and we will go to Chef Vola, but we got to call like 3 weeks in advance to get the reservation.
Clive doesn't golf. He lifts, bro. He lifts. You want to meet Clive in the off season? You can have a training sesh.
My dad is a power lifter, and look at how I turned out.
I was gonna say, man, you made the joke for me. Took it right out of my mouth.
I know. I'm self-aware, man. I know what's coming.
What would everyone do in this situation in the chat? Would you go or would you kick?
I see Patrick, Cafe 2825 and AC, much better than Chef Vola. I'm taking Chef Vola, but it's tight. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
We're going to have you up to Toronto in the offseason, Hitman. Make sure you got your passport. We're going to have you up. We're going to golf a bunch. We're going to film
as long as the flight gets paid for, I get put into a nice hotel.
Yeah.
You're sitting on a couch. What are you talking about? Hotel?
No. He's going to get a hotel room. This is going to be a double bed that he's got to share with Kanish.
They are kicking. Wow. What would you do here, Rob? Would you have went for it?
I don't have the short yardage numbers available to me off the top of my head for Buffalo. I do feel like even though they have Allen, they've notoriously struggled to pick up 1 yard sometimes. I probably would have went for it.
Yeah, it's at least.
I will say though, it's very likely that even if Baltimore scores, Buffalo will get another chance to try to go down the field.
It's kind of like if it put me up 6, it's a no-brainer to go for it. If it put me up 7, I think you should still go for it. But 8 is kind of where it gets tricky,
Yeah. I listen. I don't sit here. I'm not sitting here and hating the move. I'm not sitting here and hating the move.
Chef Vola and Oceans. No, Chef Vola is not in a casino, and it's in a house. So you either eat in the basement, you eat in the kit, you eat in
the basement. What the fuck kind of place is this, man?
It's like a speakeasy type.
Got it.
It's like dark in there. It's Frank Sinatra's favorite. That's a musician. Maybe I just know the good musicians. It's Frank Sinatra's favorite place.
It's Frank Sinatra's favorite place.
It was his favorite place.
I was going to say, because certainly can't be his favorite place now.
If you Google Frank Sinatra, Chef Vola, you will see the articles about it.
I mean, there are some stories that involve both of them. Yep. Right. Bone-in veal parm sounds amazing.
The veal parm is rated the #1 dish in the entire state by like a few of the papers that do that shit.
I should have got into food reviews. That would have been a great life.
I mean, GRP already beat you to it.
Hotel review. What? Yeah. How's he not monetized that yet?
I think it's interesting. I watched the videos where he was at the Greek restaurant, and I looked at those ribs with the lemon sauce and everything, and I was, what? That looks pretty good.
I can't remember the last time I actually made it more than 30 seconds through a GRP video.
Yeah, I know.
I click them every time, and then I'm like, why did I click this? I'm just being honest.
You guys ever heard of
New Jersey? Brooklyn Square in Jackson, New Jersey.
All right.
It's Portnoy's #1 square of all time too, in the One Bite app.
Interesting. Jason, were you going to say something, or you just?
I was going to ask why we can.
You guys don't even have pizza, right? You just got like Pizza Hut, and Domino's, and all that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
What are you talking about?
Toronto's got a very strong pizza scene.
We have a better Italian food here than in New York. I would stake.
I would agree.
I don't know about that.
It's not. I personally do not eat Italian when I go to New York because it's just a downgrade.
It actually is. I would stake that.
All right.
We got
enough about food. Let's
Italians here.
How many yards does Lamar need? What is he at right now?
Lamar is currently at 174. What was the number?
And they have 222, we said here.
222 and a half. And so 48 and a half.
Yeah. And there's one timeout right now. It's base. All right. All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tight one, Rob. It's going to be a tight one.
This game's going to end 27-25 as time expires.
The holding does not help me.
No, that does not. No. You want to see like a roughing the passer. Few of those.
Pass interference.
Yeah, deep pass interference. Yeah.
Why not run the ball on first down?
I mean, they do have to use as much time as possible.
Uh-oh. All right.
You know, I'm having deja vu of you just sweating something in the fourth quarter and just losing. And
I lose these. I mean, I lose these every time that I'm sweating these on this stream. I never win. Never.
Oh, man. Who's that hurt? Teron Johnson is down on the sidelines.
Uh-oh.
That's a corner down.
Start thinking about it for the Chiefs game this week.
Chiefs. Hello. Yeah, he fell on his left shoulder and grabbed it immediately. He's going to have to get a cortisone
Broken
shot.
collarbone?
He's going to have to get a cortisone shot next week. It could be. I mean, it's a weird. I mean, you don't want to lose to Ron Johnson against the Chiefs. You don't want to lose anyone, really. You kind of want to be at full health as much as humanly possible. You know? Taylor Rapp got hurt today.
Sounds like we're cooking up a Chiefs play.
Jake DiMichele says he subluxed that rotator cuff. He's cooked. We don't need Twitter doctors when we got YouTube doctors. I'll tell you that right now. Can probably play if it's just subluxed. I don't even know what
I think this under is going to hit. I mean, it's not like Baltimore has had a ton of success throwing the ball all game. It's got no receivers. I think we're hitting.
Yeah. You know what I feel pretty good about right now? The Chiefs winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, I've been doing content for, I don't know, 5 years or whatever. And when the playoffs start, this was the only year that I didn't get asked. You never asked us to do like a 4 Super Bowl pick for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I've taken the Chiefs literally every year. It's an easy pick.
Yeah, I didn't want to have the same pick as you. That's the reason I didn't ask.
All right, here we go.
Lamar scramble.
Lamar, he's definitely going to run this.
Got like 8 or 9.
Yeah, 9 yards. So now you run it on 3rd and 1.
Man, I missed a lot tonight. Lots of people messaging me. Not watching the stream. Gonna give them shit afterwards. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, just underneath to Justice Hill. He got that.
2 yards.
Yeah, he got it. They got to move. Like, they got to go. They only got 1 timeout in the 2-minute warning. Quick passes, maybe? Nope. Oh, Bateman's down now.
No, he's down. I mean, they literally have.
Oh, my.
They have no wide
No,
receivers.
this is good. I played Tylan Wallace under 1.5 receptions and 15.5 receiving yards.
I mean,
this is how it's going to go down.
If you want to dump any of it, I'll take as much as you want me to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is he at? 0, right?
Yeah. I'm not dumping any of it. I was just going to get your hopes up, and it seemed it worked. This is bad for me now. This is very bad for me. Charlie Kohler is a questionable return for the Ravens, just so for your notes. Just for your notes, Hitman.
So they're down right now to Aguilar, Wallace, and Anthony Miller.
Sims made a catch as well. Steven Sims.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like maybe heating the field before the game has not worked all that much. Everyone who hits the field gets injured.
Come on, Buffalo. It's got to stop. I mean, Lamar's using a lot of time. Clock's running. The clock is running, Lamar.
Oh my God, that's Wallace.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Okay, it's only half of the bet lost. We still, hopefully he does not catch another ball. I mean,
I just might be the mush.
it happens. Teron Johnson's in the game. The props are going really well. That would have been a clean sweep.
Well, looks like Lamar is going to end like Puka, dead. How much of this can I take in a week, Rob?
I don't know. You tell me, man. You seem okay. You seem to be doing okay. Did you hit the links today at all this morning? Anything like that?
I haven't played in 3 weeks. 23 days to be specific. But I hit the range the other day. Working on some stuff, working on fixing a reverse pivot.
Oh, you got the reverse pivot.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's why I can't hit my longer clubs.
Mm-hmm. It's tough, man. It's tough to get rid of that.
It's a tough game. I got the lab putter, just came in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got a lab putter. Johnny's got a lab putter. Loves
Does
it.
he love it?
Yeah, he actually does love it.
I've heard a lot of good. Yep.
So when you're taking the club away, your body's moving towards the target, like your weight's shifting forwards too early.
With my swing, you mean?
Yeah.
It's basically I'm tilting when I take it back, my upper body's tilting towards the target.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So
I know
it's a weight transfer thing.
Feel versus real is very hard in golf, man. I've also been working on some stuff, and sometimes it really feels like you're exaggerating, and then you even go watch it afterwards and you're like, holy fuck, like this is how it actually looks.
I brought a tripod to the range to record it and see how I was doing.
Yeah.
And this was on Friday, and I left, whatever. And then Saturday I drove back to the same range. And I realized I left the tripod there overnight.
Wow.
And it was still in the same exact spot.
Amazing. No one touched it. Just there. I bring a tripod to the range as well.
My friends roast me about that. They just say, what a fucking loser I am.
Yeah. This isn't I was just purely making a penis joke, nothing to do with videotaping my swing.
You do videotape it a lot though.
Yeah, what the simulator that my buddy owns has
tackle him.
Justice Hill
Oh
has a tripod there. So yeah, I will record every now and then.
I need a fucking turnover.
Can Hitman take a step back and demo his swing?
No. Oh, we'll do another video on the last watch along next week. With
Hitman confirmed for last watch along?
Likely. I would assume so.
Isaiah likely?
Boo.
All right, come on. Interception right here. What do I got to do?
I was going to ask what you guys need for let this play happen. What you guys need for Ravens money line right now to play it.
That's a good question. Well, let me see this play, which looks like a wide open catch by
right. We're done.
By Mark Andrews.
We're done.
I mean, there's a lot of things that need to go right for the Ravens. I do, in hindsight, actually think kicking was the right choice for Buffalo.
They have to go for two, get it, and then
they have to drive the field, score a touchdown, go for two, get the 2-point conversion, plus not leave Buffalo with enough time left to drive into field goal range.
It's a big parlay. You could have been more critical of their conservative decisions earlier, Buffalo. And I don't like it's going to fall on the field goal because it's the one that's going to be the last one. But
Baltimore should mix in some running plays, I think.
Agreed.
Not for your bet, Hitman.
It's over. I lost a bet.
Oh. Wow.
Holy shit.
I like being behind you guys. It's fun.
Isaiah Likely, man.
Holy
called it.
shit.
Wow.
Swear to touchdown?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, this is it though. This is the game. The 2 point. Yeah.
A lot of time right now. There's a lot of time left.
What's your play here?
If they get a 2,
I fucking run read option, Lamar and Henry.
I was about to say that if I'm Buffalo, I mean, I would not pass the ball, honestly. Well, look, this setup, they're going to pass the ball with this setup.
Why do you say that?
Just the formation. Oh, he dropped it. Oh my God, Mark Andrews dropped it. Oh man. I feel so bad for this guy.
I know.
I actually feel so bad for him.
I know.
Oh, he's wide open too. Oh my god. Wow.
I mean, it was the right play. They got a wide open look. I mean, it's not a bad throw. Like it's
fine. Yeah.
It's just he laid it out there. Oh man, that's
that poor guy.
Wow. It's tough to see. Rashad Bateman was in on that play, by the way. Not that it matters now.
Wow.
I mean, it's not completely done yet, but it pretty much is, right? Because one time out here, I mean, Buffalo's can fight.
It's done. I mean,
it's done.
You have to just run. They're going to lose 15
Allen's
yards.
just got to run around a little bit and slide. Josh Allen rushing unders. They won't be live. There won't be a rushing market for sure. They'll be off the board everywhere. Oof.
Wow. I feel so bad for him.
Bart asked, we sure Pizza Man didn't have Buffalo money line? I have Chiefs Super Bowl, and I think they have a better chance of beating the Bills than the Ravens.
What do you think the line's going to open up? Like KC -2.5?
I hope not. I hope 1.5 because the key number of 2. You have to capture that as a favorite. Yeah, it's tough. Onside kicks are tough nowadays. It was the look aheads were KC 1 and 1.5 that I saw. I don't see this game changing that, honestly. I don't. Who's the back in the game?
Ty Johnson.
That is Ty Johnson.
I mean, you have to just run backwards. If you just run backwards, the game's over.
Or you can pick up.
Go
down, Ty. Yeah, that's it.
Or just do that. All right.
That's it. FanDuel will post this really quickly after the game. They did last night. They already have it prepared and ready to go. See what the opener is. I mean,
let me guess. Spank Odds doesn't have it up. The game.
I don't know.
It's -1.5.
Yeah.
The opener.
Really like to bet Kansas City. I'm not, you know the reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes it's fucking square, but Mahomes in a pick'em game, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's
not that listen, I'm not like you guys know I'm not a public bettor or whatever. I actually think the books will be rooting for Kansas City next week. I think people are going to dump on Buffalo in this game. Everyone hates Kansas City. There's not a single person I know that wants to bet the Chiefs in this game. Every single person I know wants to bet Buffalo. Not that I'm saying that impacts anything, by the way. I'm just merely making a observation. Merely making an observation. It is posted at FanDuel, -1.5, -108, KC -120 money line. Total is 47.5.
Got to pick them at another place. Go on, Rob.
So total 47.5. Does that not feel low? I don't know. I have to put some work into that. I don't know.
I don't know. It did open. It opened 49.5 at another shop. If people want to try to middle that.
Yeah.
Or just bet whatever you think the right side is.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, you can't bet the over early in a game at Arrowhead. That's going to happen in late January. You simply can't. So gotta wait.
Let's use good old Google. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's early forecast, but 34 degrees, light wind.
Yeah. There are some good points here. Bill's going to take a long time to run every play. Both are going to play ball control. I will say, I mean, Mike says Chiefs don't score anymore. Houston, in my opinion, I mean, you could argue they have the best defense in the league. It's definitely top 3. Buffalo doesn't. It's going to be a big difference. We saw the Chiefs' offense against Pittsburgh's defense. They've moved the ball and scored just fine.
Definitely got to monitor these injuries too with Teron Johnson. And Taylor Rapp. I mean, Kansas City has guys on offense. Like, it's not like they're receiving. It's not like last year, like Hollywood Brown, Hopkins, Xavier Worthy, and Kelsey is not bad.
Who plays the most slot for KC? Wide receiver.
It's just off the top of my head. I feel like it really isn't. It's just been very mixed.
Yeah, because that would be the biggest beneficiary of Rasul Douglas.
I think Worthy, but I feel like they mix and match it a lot.
Yeah. Well, next week, conference championships. Eagles, Commies, Bills, Chiefs. Going to be a banger of the day. Thank you, Hitman. Sorry for the losers, guys. But what are you going to do?
It's every time I'm on the stream. It's guaranteed loser.
Mm-hmm. We might have to go back to Hitman Fade next time.
Yeah.
I'll make the call. Call.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Hitman, everyone. At Hitman428 on Twitter. Make sure you follow him if you don't already. It's going to be it here on Forward Progress. Big week coming up for us. Going to maintain the same schedule as usual. Thursday, Best Bet Show this week. I'm going to break down both matchups. We'll talk about the matchups in full. Props, team totals, whatever. Everything you could possibly bet. We'll talk about it this week on Forward Progress. As a reminder, watch along next week for the late game. It's Conference Championship Sunday. I'm not around for that. It's sacrilege for me to miss my annual friend thing. Make sure you tune in. We're getting our best content creators here from Forward Progress. We're stacking the lineup for next week. So still set notifications for that. It's going to be a big one. And of course, my other YouTube channel, Circles Off, Tuesday morning, Circle Back will drop. If you like gambling Twitter drama, tune in. If you don't have to. But it's there for you as well. That's it for me tonight. Jam-packed show. Great guests. Hitman, Chris Dierkes, China, Doug Kazarian. It was a blast and a really good football game. Great football weekend, as always. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Smash your like button on the way out the door. Make sure you're subbed here on Forward Progress and make sure you do check out FanDuel as always. I'm Rob Pizzola. Have a good night, everyone. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of the night.